What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. And so I know that it is late. In fact, it's the wee hours of the morning across the country. But I wanted to see if this was possible to live stream this video. It's time for me to get up and pray. I gotta get up and pray. So I'm gonna make this quick. Um, I wanted to see if it was possible to live stream this video because I want to know that. But the main reason is because I had prepared this video for Black Junction TV, and it was only going to be released there. It's just over 3 hours. And if this cord doesn't strangle me, I'll finish telling you. And they're having problems over there. Like, I couldn't access the site, and then once I could access it, none of the videos would play because it would just fault out to some what do you call it, network error or something. I don't know, some error. So they're probably doing something to the site, and I'm sure they're aware of it, so I didn't panic. But I started working on this video Wednesday night, and late, because I didn't want to start on it until the earth was silent and quiet. And I worked all Wednesday night until 7 o'clock Thursday morning on this piece. I need that to sink in for a minute. And then I ended up falling asleep during the after editing. After that, then I ended up falling asleep after the processing to get it ready to be uploaded just to my computer, and I slept all day. So now it is the morning of Friday, and I'm up. I'm always up early because the first prayer for Muslims is before the sun comes up. And so I'm just now releasing it. I was trying to release it again, like I say, over on the Black Junction, but I couldn't, and I didn't want to wait because the references that I'm making in the video won't be relevant. It'll be like, when did he do this? What? So I didn't want that to happen. So I'm killing two birds with one stone. Not only am I getting it out now, but I'm also seeing if it's possible just to live stream the entire video. I will stop in a minute after I shut up. I will look to see if anybody's just happened to wander into the room. If you are, I'm not going to be able to be responding to you because this is going to have to take up the full screen. So therefore, I won't be able to see your chat and all that stuff. This will have to take up the full screen so that you can just watch it as a video. And then it also gives me the option to come in and out vocally, like I'm on my mic right now, if I need to stop and clarify something or something like that. I don't think I need to because I've really put in my work on this video. It is thorough. I'm extremely proud of this work. And so, but maybe I get an itch and maybe I want to come in on video or something, and then I can just do the thing where my picture's in the corner like it is in the video, or whatever. Last thing I'll say too is with regard to, well, whatever. All right. I'll say it. When I do the videos where I'm doing articles and then I'm on camera also, you guys, and then like the articles next to me, I have purposely enlarged the field that has my video in it of me because I'm aware that everybody doesn't have a 50-inch television to watch. I do all my stuff on my 50-inch, and so because your TV is your computer and it's your TV and it's you can do anything. So I'm aware of that, and so it's important to me that people are watching me on their phone or that are watching me on like maybe a 10-inch monitor or something, that they still can see the Jedi. All right, and I always tell you, you must watch my videos in full screen, or all of them. You must watch me in full screen. Now, I'm going to play the video, but before I do that, I'm gonna decrease this thing so I can see if just anybody's in the chat room. I'll just say hello if you're there and love you and bye-bye. And then I got to go pray. All right, let me see. Perfect. Oh, Mother Earth, I see you. Blessings to you too, my sister. In fact, real quick, you can let me know how is the stream coming through. And then I'm going to start this. Okay, you may be away then. Okay, thank you, Mother Earth. I love you. Thank you for that. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. And also the other benefit of doing this is because you all know that I produce intros for all of my videos, you know? So there's an intro, and so by streaming it live, then you get to see all that too, you know, because every frame of this is important. So now, Mother Earth, if you're still listening, now that you see it full on your screen, you know that I can't see the chat no more now. And I appreciate you being the first person to show up at this ridiculous hour. You are my family. Oh, one thing I do have to do is silence my microphone so that it doesn't bleed into the sound. Okay, this will be the last thing you hear, and I'm out. The Jedi out. And then I will come back after the piece is finished.
What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I first want to say a message to Nappy Root, or to Nappy Anchor. I didn't get a chance to call you after the live stream. I don't think I was going to call you that day. I think I meant to call you the next day, and I didn't get a chance to. So, God willing, I'll call you tomorrow, Thursday. So just look for a block call. It will be the Jedi. And I'll leave a message even if I don't get you. I also want to shout out K.R. Watkins, who is indeed the provocateur of this video. Wow. Thank you so much, KR. This is a critical find. And you know, I was struck by it when I saw your comment. That's why I sent you back the message saying, you know, I don't remember what I said, like I'm on it or something. And I started working on it. And then I said no. I wanted to wait until now when the earth was quiet, when it was in the wee hours of the night. Because I feel like I know from my own experience in life. on my life, that's when my inspiration is the greatest. Indeed, all wisdom comes in silence. And this is no different. And I think that it really is when the ancestors who have come before can really inspire you. I don't think they can come in busyness and noisiness and distractedness. It has to be zen. It has to be a place. So I wanted to wait. And I was so put back on my heels when I saw your comment. KR was just basically saying, in fact, I'll read you her comment. And I thought that is so brilliant because, right. This was on the video that I did about the our Jamaican brothers and sisters being obsessed with lightening their damn skin. I'm over it. But KR was in that context of that. She was saying, Jedi, this seriously reminds me of the Willie Lynch letter. Because, making reference to the fact that they would put light skin against brown skin and da-da-da. She goes on, I truly want to find the official Willie Lynch letter and do a breakdown of all the ways it is affecting us now. Stuff like this makes me hope for change within our people if they were told the truth. Shaking my head. Example, slave master would put dark skin against light skin. This is going on now. Jedi, this really makes my heart hurt. Our people really have identity issues. But that jumped out at me and I go, yeah, we all know about it, but no, I never looked for it. And I'm the Jedi. I never looked for it. I never looked for it. But that all changes right here, right now, everybody. It changes. We have the Willie Lynch letter, and I'm going to be sharing it with you. And I sent back to her, your wish is my command, KR. I'm working on it now, and you won't believe what I'm finding. I should have the video out in the next couple of hours or so, maybe sooner. Well, that was my intention then, but as I say, I felt like I needed to wait until my energy was in a certain place, and most importantly, when the earth is silent. When the earth is silent, We've talked about the Willie Lynch letter. Everybody listening to me right now knows about it or has heard of it, but none of us has seen it. Where is it?
ASI.
Oh my God, it's not fire. Oh my God, I need water. What did I do now? Oh, okay. Anyway, so this is the Willie Lynch letter, everybody. This is what I was able to find. I've not read it, but when I saw it said the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave, that's all I needed. That's all I needed. I looked at some other things. When I Googled it, I was looking at some other titles just to see if they looked like they were panning out. What I will tell you also I was struck by is a lot of the stuff that I was finding was, it seems like there's a misinformation campaign amidst, there was a lot of places asking, is it a myth? Or some were proclaiming it's a myth, and things like that. This seems to be misinformation, you see. So it was difficult for me to just get to one that I could identify that this is it. And I always scan down, you guys know, when I find articles or anything that we're going to read, just to see how long it is. Well, this is 60 pages. We're not doing that. All right. Hopefully we're going to, but I noticed as I was going down, it kept saying introduction, 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 so I was like, well, maybe this isn't it. But by the time I saw this dude, I go, and then it said, this is the speech delivered by the slave owner William Lynch on the banks of the James River in 1712. I go, well, then that's it. So I scanned on back up to the top, and I began. But I'm going to re-begin now. But before we do, I want to say this, I have, as you guys know so clearly, I have identified Christianity as a major drag on our character and our reaction to our environment, our lack of courage, our disunity. You could keep going a little bit longer. And certainly this is right in hand with that. Because just like I brought you the letter from King Leopold of Belgium, his letter to the Christian missionaries in the Congo, they spelled it out in black and white. And for me, I can't imagine if I were not a Muslim, or even if I was an atheist, but certainly if I was a Christian, after even learning that, being an intellectual person, someone who is smart, but moreover, someone who's interested in the truth. My whole life is motivated by the truth. My whole life. So I can't imagine in any scenario that I would have learned about that letter to the missionaries in the Congo, heard what they were saying, and still went back to church. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it, and I definitely would have never picked up the Bible ever again. That's out. Then I would tell you about knowledge converging, because I would have converged that with my knowledge that all the Christian theologians and scholars all have said that the Bible is not a divine work. It's not divine. It's not from God. They've said it, not Muslims, not the Jedi. Experts in divinity and theology, the most notable laureates in the field, have all proclaimed the Bible is not divine. It is not from God. So I would converge that with the King Leopold thing, and I'd be like, okay, I'm over it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm over this. I'm definitely over this. And so now this, and I'm hoping it's going to yield more detail about this Willie Lynch letter and thusly the Willie Lynch syndrome. Because again, being an intellectual person, someone who's smart, but someone who's interested in the truth, I could imagine that if I was not someone who was interested in my people, who didn't love my people, who was standoffish, wouldn't just, give a brother a what's up when I passed him, and just was that element that I see amongst what seems to be the majority of my people, I would imagine that once I saw this, I would go, I'm changing that shit right now. I'm changing it. I'm changing it. Because I would understand in that moment that this is not authentic. That what I'm doing is not authentic. That I should be loving my brother and my sister. That I should be putting them first. I should be at their aid and there for them and all these things, And I would do business with them only and seek them out first and, all the things that we desire. That would come to me automatically. I'd go, that's what I need to do. Because I've been given an artificial response to life itself. And a wall has been erected between me and my people. I can't allow that. So I would immediately make change. And that's what I need you to understand, my people, not just about this, but about everything. Can I do this while I'm on? Yes, Allah Akbar. This is what I need you understanding. I've said this many times, but I always say stuff many times in many different ways. Because sometimes it may be the 100th time that you say it that somebody goes, I get it. Damn it, I get it. Or they hear it for the first time and they get it. Or they heard it before and now they get it, whichever way. But one of your keys to success in life, and certainly when we think about unity amongst our people and how we become devoted to one another going forward and become a cohesive unit, is you have to, I've said this first, first of all, righteousness has to be at the forefront of everything you do. Whether you're sitting on the toilet or putting a fork in your mouth to eat some food, it doesn't matter. Righteousness must be your pursuit. That's first. Secondly, you must get yourself out of the way of everything. You've shown that you're not worthy of having opinions. You're not. So, accept that. You see, And if you can't just accept that right now, then at least take that on, temporarily even, if that makes you feel better. Take it on and just say, I'm not worthy to have an opinion. I'm not. And I've shown myself to be unworthy of having an opinion, because that is what is pervasive amongst our people. So we need to be over opinions. We almost need, like, if we had our own country, or our own several states of this damn asshole of Satan, and we had, like, somebody that's our leader, that person would just need to be a dictator, at least for a while. Because our people are so far gone, you need to just tell them what to do. Go do it. Do it. Don't ask questions, just do it. Until it became a habit for them, you see. And then you let them have their own expression, but it would be in what has now become normal for them. You see, it's like a child. You don't negotiate with a child because you know better. And every time you let them just have their free will, they're going to just continue to be a disaster. You have to set the tone. No, this is what's happening because I said so. I'm a big believer of that, and again, radical or great things, that's not the word I'm trying to say, but the state of our people is such that that's what we need. That's what we need. Because we're in critical condition, and so we just need to be put on the table and shocked. We can't have, because we have too many people having opinions, and that's ruining our ability, or even our possibility of having cohesivity. You see what I'm saying? We need change, but change comes from within, and there has to be a commitment. And you can't change from within unless you are willing to exercise and get rid of everything that's in there already and replace that with something new. We can all agree that everything's that's been done up to the very moment that I'm sitting here talking to you on this video. Everything's been done up to right now, including everything you've done in life, has not worked for us. Has not worked. We can all agree on that, because otherwise we'd be in a different place, and we're not. So we can all agree on that. That's what's, evident truth. That's empirical evidence right there. So let us accept that, because that's the first step in moving into a new day. You see? Now, the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. And I guess we'll go through these introductions and see what they're about. The infamous Willie Lynch letter gives both African and Caucasian students and teachers some insight concerning the brutal and inhumane psychology behind the African slave trade. The materialistic viewpoint of Southern plantation owners that slavery was a business and the victims of chattel slavery were merely pawns in an economic game of debauchery. Crossbreeding, interracial rape, and mental conditioning of a Negroid race they considered subhuman. I would change something in there when they say that the materialistic viewpoint of Southern plantation owners. No, it was of all white people, and it is still today. They're one unit, thinking in one way. One way. We don't allow them to have individuality, because if that were true, we'd be in a different place now. Clearly, they've all been colluding against us up until the very moment that I'm sitting here, and continue to collude as I sit. That's empirical truth. Equally important is the international nature of the European economic, political, and cultural climate that influenced the slave trade. Within the time scale of African history, it was a relatively short period, a mere one and a half centuries, from the most intensive phase of the Atlantic slave trade to the advent of European administration and dominance. Long before that, the slave coast. I need punctuations up in this piece. I'm having inferred commas and parentheses, long before the slave trade, long before that, comma, thus should have been, the slave coast had been chartered by the Portuguese and the people of, I think they meant, and the people of the area west, or maybe they do, and the people off the area west of Benin, between the Volta River and Lagos. European leaders traced a cultural history which linked them with the earliest Yoruba settlements to the north and eastern borders of Africa. There were considerable debates during the colonial periods in the United States in the late 1700s. The attention of the national government was mainly directed to slavery and the rising number of slaves traded and imported into the South. But to be very careful with the South thing, everybody, you know, I dispelled that in my life many years ago, because wherever the white man is, there is evil. And so, because if it was just the South, then that means that all the government was in the South, you see, and we know that the capital is in D.C., all right? So the government, so that means that the rest of the country would have prospered. Slavery was all over this bitch. Put down this South stuff. Put that down tonight. Put that down. Put it down. Absolutely reject that anytime you hear it. The first debate was held in Congress in 1789 on the question of whether taxes should be paid on imported slaves. During the debate on the Slavery Duty Bill, which was introduced by Mr. Clymer's committee, Parker of Virginia moved that on May 13, 1789, a tax of $10 per capita be laid on slaves imported. He plainly stated that the tax was designed to check the trade, and that he was sorry that the Constitution prevented Congress from prohibiting the importation altogether. The proposal was evidently unwelcome and caused extended debate. See, let me say this, everybody. Anytime I'm reading, like I'm reading now, I'm reading trepidatiously, because I don't trust the writing. It doesn't flow the way that you would speak. It just doesn't. And their punctuations are off, and they're missing things, like what we just said. I have to read it again. The proposal was eventually unwelcome. Wait. Congress was prohibiting the importation altogether. The proposal was evidently unwelcome and it should be a D, caused extended debate. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm trepidatious. I can't just flow. Smith of South Carolina wanted to postpone the matter, so big with the serious consequences to the state he represented. Roger Sherman of Connecticut could not reconcile himself to the insertion of human beings as an article of duty among goods, wares, and merchandise. So they're setting up good whites for us now, everybody. Oh, there was some of them that were just against it. Roger Sherman of Connecticut could not reconcile himself to the insertion of human beings as an article of duty among goods, wares, and merchandise. He thought they were human, probably. We reject that. Because the only way this shit survived is all of them were bad. There were no good ones, and there aren't. There aren't. I am firm on that. Jackson and Georgia argued against any restriction and thought such states, such as Virginia, ought to let their neighbors get supplied before the imposed such a burden upon the importation. I'm sure they meant they. You see what I'm saying? I can't work like this. Some congressmen argued during that Congress. Should wipe off the stigma under which America labored. I can't. This brought Jackson again to his feet. He believed, in spite of the fashion of the day, that Negroes were better off as slaves than as freemen, and that as the tax was partial, it would be the most odious tax Congress could impose. Such sentiments were a distinct advance in pro-slavery doctrine and called for a protest from Congressman Madison of Virginia. They were both moral arguments and legal positions to their, I'm sure they meant there. There were both moral arguments and legal positions to the question of slavery in the South. You see, I can't work like this. I can't work like this. It's one thing to do a dissertation on the information, but to have to write it too. I'm not here to write. I can't. Press on. There were both moral arguments and legal positions to the question of slavery in the South. On one side, it began with the rights of man, and descended to sticking for it to have a decent appearance on the statute book. On the other side, it began with the uplifting of the heathen, and descended to a denial of the applicability of moral principle to the question. Said Holland of North Carolina, quote, "It is admitted that the condition of slaves in the southern states is much superior to that of those in Africa." Be careful of information, everybody. Even though we're getting into this and we're supposed to be going to the Willie Lynch letter, we don't. This is an attempt to put stuff down and have you accept it as gospel. You see, you have to just trust me on that. I know what I'm talking about, and so this is diabolical in its intention. So they're giving you these arguments, and then now Holland of North Carolina says it's admitted that the condition of slaves in the southern states is much superior to that of those in Africa. You're supposed to infer that there were slaves in Africa, and there was not. You see? Caution. There's always been servitude, my people. There's still servitude. I'm sure Oprah's got a lot of servants. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sure, goddammit, name somebody famous. They all have servants. But those people are still people. They have a language. They have their names. They have their own religion. They have all this shit. They're still a whole entity. We can never allow any language or even thought process that tries to equate the vicious, demonic evil of this white devil who has pulled off the greatest crime ever committed in the history of mankind on a people, us. We can never allow that to be equated with anything else, because there's nothing more evil on the earth than them. Nothing. Nothing you can even conjure in a horror movie is as deceptive and demonic as these people. Nothing. Nothing, because you had to be deceptive and demonic to do this shit. And then to carry it on and just change it over in a different way now, even current day. You see, remember yesterday is today, and today is yesterday. Nothing has changed. These are still the same people that encountered us in 1619. We didn't encounter them. They encountered us. We were minding our own business. Holland's opinion, who then will say that trade is immoral. But in fact, morality has nothing to do with this traffic, for Joseph Clay declared, quote, "It must appear to every man of common sense that the question could be considered in a commercial point of view only. The other side declared that by laws of God and man, these capture Negroes, not captured, these captured Negroes are entitled to their freedom." And then there's a comma after Negroes that doesn't even need to be there. I'm over this, people. Oh my God, are entitled to their freedom, and clearly and as absolutely as we are. I don't know if we're going to read this. We're just going to get to the letter, everybody. We have to. I can't do this. Willie Lynch, The Untold Story, 1712. This speech was delivered by a white devil, Willie Lynch, on the banks of the James River in 1712. And the message is still true today. I love how they put the periods. And the message is still true today. Gentlemen, I greet you here on the banks of the James River in the year of our Lord 1712. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experienced, I'm sure, with some of the newest and still the oldest methods for control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sailed south on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish, I can't, but I want to stop and say this. Do you see that, everybody? What did I just tell you in my opening? That the Bible is not from God and it's all vomit and I'm over it. And what did they just say there? Two things that should step out to your ear. Name for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible, you don't get to have a version of God's word. Do you understand? There is no version of the Quran. There's one Quran, that's it. The same thing that Allah sent down to the Prophet over the course of 23 years, nearly 1,500 years ago. There's one Quran. There's no versions of the Quran. But here you go, whose version of the Bible we cherish. And it's even named after him, the King James Version. It's diabolical, Christians. Get away from it. Run from it far and fast. But here's the other problem. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. All right. Whose version we cherish. I saw enough to know your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood as crosses for standing human bodies along its old highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and rope on occasion. Talk about lynchings. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple of miles back. You are not only losing valuable stocks by hangings, you are having uprisings. Slaves are running away. Your crops are sometimes left in the field too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what problems are. I don't need to elaborate. I'm not here to enumerate your problems. However, I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. But in that we glean that there are people who were fighting back. When he says that, you had problems, you had fires, your animals are being killed, so, our people were fighting back, in some degrees. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if it is installed correctly, it will control the slave for at least 300 years. My method is simple, and any member of your family or your overseer can use it. You see, it can control your slaves for at least 300 years. I've said to you many times, you're having your whole experience of what you think is existence is artificial. We've been robbed of the very freedom of birth to death, and to just have an incidental, ironic, spiritual, divine, growing, purposeful life, all interrupted by this white devil. All interrupted. You see? That's why you should want to divorce yourself from anything that's attached to them. Anything, including that interracial bullshit. Simply that they are descendants of the ones that enslaved you and still continue to enslave you and incarcerate you to this day and murder you down in the street. There's no way I could ever take one of these people as a mate. Are you sick? I've outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take those differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. Fear is what he led with. I'll start again. He says, I've outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear. He started with that. I would say it's not just what somebody says, it's what words they use to say it, and how do they say it. He says that word first. And I've already told you, fear is the greatest emotion, everybody. It's not love. Throw that out. Burn that. The greatest emotion is fear. And indeed, the greatest weapon. The greatest weapon. When you can install fear, you have conquered. You must install fear. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work through the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On the top of my list is age, but it's there only because it starts with an A. He was probably trying to be funny. The second is color or shade. Why am I taking on a southern fucking accent? What am I doing? Oh my god, I can't. I'm channeling. Wow. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size, plantation, status on plantation, attitude of owners, whether the slaves live in the valley or on the hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. I mean, he's using everything. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before that, I shall assure you that the distrust is stronger than trust, and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generation. I think they meant self-generating. Will be self-refueling and self-generating for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. I've said to you a million times, you're on autopilot. We don't need to have chains on you now. We'll just let you go because you can just do it on your own. We don't need to have an overseer because you will just do it on your own. You see? And this is even the coon class of protecting mass and all the bullshit. You're on autopilot. You have to sit yourself down, my people, if you're under the sound of my voice, and especially if you're a Christian. But you got to sit yourself down right now. You can even stop the video. And you got to go look in the mirror and say, I am not going to be this. I'm not going to be this because this is not me. This was created for me. And see, you're walking around being told what to be and do, and you think it's authentic. You think you're being authentic, that you're just coming up with things on your own, and you are not. 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 This is so important. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark-skinned slave versus the light-skinned slave, and the light-skinned slave versus the dark-skinned slave. You must use the female versus the male, and the male versus the female. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. But it is necessary your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. To y'all sorry-ass niggas out there who want to get on the fucking internet and talk shit about black women, hopefully you choke on your own spit in the middle of the night while laying on your back. You understand? If you want to get on the internet and you want to rant and rave about one sister that did something to you, maybe it's a personal thing, but you don't get on here and start, sweeping black women with all these brushes and shit. Because that makes you a woman. Beneath a woman. You're something that we haven't even named yet. But trust me, it's vile. It's vile. That I know. Even though we haven't named it yet, we know it's vile. We know that. But this distrust, you see, and so when he talks about the younger male against the older black male, we see that now. These young ones now, they don't have any reverence for their elders. No reverence. I'm not going to blame Willie Lynch for that, because I'm blaming black parents, because we have a culture, and our culture is we discipline our kids, and we do get out the belt if we need to, and we get out the switch if we need to, and we get out the extension cord if we need to. And this has nothing to do with white people. They don't have a fucking thing to say about it. They can kiss our entire collective asses. You see, but there was respect for elders. Respect. That's been allowed to dwindle away, because you could add to pathology to that, because you're allowing, it used to be heresy for you to have a child as a teenager. Now it's commonplace. You see, so you're just fucking up the whole structure of our culture completely, the pecking order and everything. So I'm not going to blame this on the Willie Lynch, that part of it. I'm not blaming that on Willie Lynch. I'm not. Damn it, I'm not. Damn it. Gentlemen, these kids are the keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensively for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen. Editors repeat. This speech was delivered by a white devil, Willie Lynch, on the banks of James River in 1712. Let's Make a Slave, by the Black Arcade Liberation Library, 1970. What is the Black Arcade Liberation Library? I don't know the answer to that. Oh, that's not my phone. Oh my God, it's too far away from me. I'm too fat and lazy to get up. But we have to do this work. Well, all right. We're not here to sensationalize, we're here to learn, everybody. So we must do this. Black Arcade Liberation Library. The Black Arcade Liberation Library. And it says the Willie Lynch letter and the making of a slave. But it doesn't tell me what is the Black Arcade Liberation Library. Oh, okay. National Liberation. No, this is something else. I don't know, everybody. I don't know the answer to it. That's your homework. Find out and share it with us in the comments, and I will continue to search as well. I would do a full out search right now, but I'm not going to do it. We're just going to carry on. All right. It was in the interest and business of slaveholders to study human nature, and the slave nature in particular, with a view to practical results, and many of them attained astonishing proficiency in this direction. They had to deal not with earth, wood, and stone, but with men, and they, by every regard, they had known for their safety. We can't do this. They can't fucking write, dude. Is there another version of this? My God. Let me see if I can find this. This is some bullshit. Hold on, y'all. We're gonna find something else, because this is just, I mean, listen, this is why I tell you guys, even with your comments, not just on my channel, but anywhere you're gonna be on social media, read your shit before you hit send. How many times even we're in the chat and I see people just haven't read, I just let it go, you know, because there's a time to bitch and there's a time to just kind of let it go, you know, but you're saying something about yourself. You're saying something about yourself. One is that you're not thorough, you see, so you're probably less likely to be trustworthy by that I mean you don't have attention to detail. So if you tell me something, or if you tell somebody else something, they know that you don't usually get your facts right. So we kind of have to take it with a grain of salt. I heard you. Okay, that's cute then. All right, appreciate you. You see, and then you move on because you're over it. Let's see if we can find something else, because I can't do this. That's an embarrassment to all humanity. Is this a different one? Okay, this one is not as fabulous, if you will. But goddamn it, it's gonna get the job done. Maybe, just maybe. Okay. Let me make sure now that we're in the right position. Alright. New position, new position. Rock the boat, rock the boat. I don't know where that came from. Alright. Let's make a slave. It was the interest and business of slaveholders to study human nature, and the slave nature in particular, with a view to practical results. I and many of them attained astonishing proficiency in this direction. They had to deal not with earth, wood, and stone, but with men, and by every regard they had for their own safety and prosperity, they needed to know the material on which they were to work. Conscious of the injustice and wrong that they were every hour perpetuating, in other words, knowing this was some bullshit, I will translate it as we go. Alright? Conscious of the injustice and wrong they were every hour perpetuating, and knowing what they themselves would do, were they the victims of such wrongs, this genocide, they were constantly looking for the first signs of the dreaded retribution. So they were always on guard for us to strike on their ass. You see? To strike on their ass. I go back to Birth of a Nation. You know, Nate Parker's character, Nat Turner, let them get real comfortable and then struck on that devil in the middle of the night. Struck on him. Man, woman, and goddamn child. They knew, and they know now. They know now. They know now. That's why they don't like for us to speak about the shit on social media. That's why they fucking, they profile us in the street and all these things. Because they know that retribution is due. They know it. They know it. They know it. So that's why I said we don't play footsies with their ass. We proclaim what we're going to proclaim, and we have no fear. They were constantly looking for the first signs of the dreaded retribution. They watched, therefore, with skilled and practiced eyes, and learned to read with great accuracy the state of mind and heart of the slave through his sable face, unusual sobriety, apparent abstractions, sullenness, and indifference indeed. Any mood out of the common was afforded ground for suspicion and inquiry. I want to stop and say this. That right there, everybody, is the equivalent of what goes on today. Smile, smile. No, bitch, you smile. You see, how many jobs have I been in? I've been in a lot of high-arcing jobs and, you know, all that kind of stuff where I work only around fucking white people. You see? And I don't have a face that is jovial if I don't have anything going on, if I'm not communicating. But it doesn't matter. Smile, or the capacity go with that bullshit. Fuck you, bitch. You smile. You see what I'm saying? You start throwing dollars at the bitch or something. Like it's a circus act. You see? But this is that equivalent, because when you're not animated, they don't know what you're thinking. They don't know what you're thinking any damn way. Because I've been grinning at you and plotting your fucking death. You understand? Oh, I can do that. I'm very good. You see? But this is that now. Again, still same devil from 1619 to 2018. Same devil. Same one. That's what that's about. I'll read it again. I'll read it if I can find it. They were constantly looking for the first signs of the dreaded retribution that they knew should have been delivered to their fucking white ass. They watched, therefore, with skilled and practiced eyes, and learned to read with great accuracy the state of mind and heart of the slave, through his sable face, unusual sobriety, apparent abstraction, sullenness, and indifference indeed. Any mood out of the common was afforded ground for suspicion and inquiry. What's wrong? You're a white ass, you see? That's what this is about. Gotta watch you. Because they know they're evil and they know they're guilty and they know we should have been on their fucking throats a long goddamn time ago. Let's not play around the fucking weeds. Let us make a slave. What do we need? First of all, we need a black... I'm not going to use this nigger bullshit. Fuck that. And I'd like to know who the writer of this is, because they probably were just getting their jovials on fucking using the word fuck them and the fat greasy bitch that gave birth to them, that fat bitch. First of all, we need a black man, a pregnant man, a pregnant woman, and her baby. Second, we will use the same basic principle that we use in breaking a horse, combined with some more sustaining factors. See, again, you were an animal. What we do with the horses is what we break. What we do with the horses is that we break them from one form of life to another one. Huh? Read that again. What we do with horses is that we break them from one form of life to another one. That's what they try and do to you on fucking YouTube. Oh, it's a strike. Oh, you can't upload for 2 weeks. Oh, you can't live stream. Fuck you. You're not going to break me, white bitch. I'm a fucking unbridled steed galloping on the plain. Fuck you. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You don't cower for this enemy, ever. It's the same shit. They try to break you to appease them. You see what I'm saying? No, they don't need any appeasing. What they need is the wrath of our ass. That's what's needed. Where am I at? I'm worked up. From one life to another one. That is, we reduce them from their natural state in nature. What I tell you already, you're not living a natural life. You're not. You're not. That's why I say you gotta get in that mirror and say, I'm not doing this. And you gotta search your feelings and find out what's authentic for you. You understand? And anything that's been taught to you by this white devil is not authentic to you. And you've got to put that down and get rid of it. Just that somebody is sitting and plotting at this depth on your fucking life should tell you something. Where am I at? God damn it. We reduce them from their natural state to their natural state in nature. I'm over it. Whereas nature provides them with the natural capacity to take care of their offspring. We break that natural string of independence from them and thereby create a dependency status so that we may be able to get from them useful production for our business and pleasure. I want to stop there. I have to. Whereas nature provides them with the natural capacity to take care of their offspring. Me and my brothers and sisters, we got some ass whoopings growing up. You understand? And I'm an outstanding human today because of it. God damn it. End of the the white devil. Well, it's, you can't hit your children. That's just child abuse. Fuck you, bitch. Crawl back into the cave. You see, it's the same thing. Same thing. And also, we can infer the African brother in there too. So that it's get him out of the house, give her public, because first of all, fuck up everything so he can't get a job. Get rid of Reconstruction. Get rid of segregation and all the shit that we've built. Get rid of all that. So now you're dependent on us. Now we make you into a criminal. You can't have anything. Now we have your woman, and by default, your child. We can infer that here. Whereas nature provides them the natural capacity to take care of their offspring, we break that natural strain of independence from them, and thereby create a dependency status so that we can be able to get from them music production, etc. And for y'all dumbass niggas out there who I've heard regurgitating this vomit, well, you know, it was the Arabs that had us in slavery. Fuck you, and go and learn. Because show me the equivalent of this plotting by the Arab on our black ass. Show me it. Show me it. Show me it. Show me. Go and show me now the museum that, with even one artifact, even one, that stories and archives this great slavery that the Arabs perpetuated upon us. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that. Stop regurgitating shit out of your mouth that you don't know what you're talking about. Stop it. I don't know if I'm going to get through this, y'all. I'm so worked up right now, you don't even know. And I even was burning some incense before I started this, just for calming and spirituality and all that stuff. And I am worked the fuck up. I'm at the point of homicide. Cardinal principles for making a Negro. For fear that our future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both of the beasts together, the black man and the horse, we understand that short-range planning economics results in periodic economic chaos. That's the semicolon, keep going. So that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires us to have breadth and depth in long-range comprehensive planning, articulating both skill sharp perceptions. I have to stop. I have to stop. Hear this, everybody. Language. For fear that our future generations, that's the white devil right now that lives next door to you, the white bitch next to me, the bitch you work with, whatever, for fear that their white ass may not understand the principles of breaking both the beasts together, the black man and the horse, we understand that short-range planning economics, and by the way, they use the word principles. Future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both, not the technique. Hear this now, this is very important. Not the technique, not the method. Those are isolated and temporary. Individual even. Principles are long-standing. They are empirical. They are etched. And they are endless and timeless. You see? So of course, so they say future generations. That's down the road, planning. And may understand the principles, this that we've set as the principle, the standard. You understand? Yesterday is today and today is yesterday. You understand? Slavery never fucking ended. Keep going down the list. They use the word principles of breaking both the beasts together, the black man and the horse. We understand that short-range planning economics results in periodic economic chaos. In other words, we're not just planning for the short term. It's got to be the long term. That's why you went from slavery to mass incarceration in this bitch. You see? Well, there's the slave codes and Jim Crow and all the bullshit, and then you massive fucking incarceration on your ass. Eternal white devil. Right there in black and white. Eternal. 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 Evil. We'll start at that period and go on. We understand that short-range planning economics results in periodic economic chaos. Chaos. Because I always tell you, the god of this devil is money and power. A coin first. That's why they connote that money and power are the same thing. Money equals power to this white devil. You see? So, result in periodic economic chaos. Chaos is the word they use. Because that's devastating. We broke, we just got him broke. It's not chaos. You just be like a bitch is broke. You see? But chaos is the word used. So that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires us to have breadth and depth in long-range comprehensive planning. Articulating both skill-sharp perceptions. So you got to have long-range planning and breadth and depth. They're saying articulating both skill-sharp perceptions. You see? Breadth and depth in long-range comprehensive planning. Like I said, they never intended for your ass to be free. They didn't think about that. You see? But when they knew it, then they immediately re-argumented their principal model to all the bullshit they've given you and continue to give you. You cannot be in love with these people on any fucking level. I don't see how it can happen. I don't. Because then for any dumb-ass white person trying to watch me or any dumb-ass black person, answer this. Because I'm about to shut down your ignorance right here. Let's say I raped your mother. All right? And then, but it was 20 years ago. 20 years ago. Then now, my son comes to date you've now produced a daughter. My son comes to date your daughter. I'm the guy that raped your wife. Here comes my son, and by the way, he happens to look just like me, which would mean he's a model and the most astounding thing ever seen by humanity, but that's going to be in the book. That'll be like chapter 3. Forget that. Throw that out. Throw that out. All right? He looks just like me. What are you going to say? And he's there to date your daughter. It's the same fucking thing. You expect us to just put down your evil because time has passed? We're supposed to put it down because time has passed? Because you say so? I'm sorry? Maybe you could type it. I'm sorry, what? What? Because you say so? But you see, your psychotic way is to be a hypocrite. The very vision and definition of the word. Because I'm sure you would say, well, yeah, until somebody rapes your mother and their son shows up to fucking date your daughter. Don't give me that shit. And to my people, that's why we don't need to fall for this. We don't have any responsibility in this. You need to be clear about that. We don't have any responsibility, and we can do and say what the fuck we want. You don't tell us how to suffer once you've cut us. You don't tell us that. You don't tell us that. And pray that we don't cut you. Pray. We lay down the following principles, there's that word again, for long-range comprehensive economic planning. Both horse and blacks is no good in the economy in the wild or natural state. I'm going to be stopping all through this bitch. We're going to be here. Think about that, everybody. What I told you this already. I said, I've told you this many times. You're not having an authentic human experience on earth. You're not. And everything that we do, everything that we eat, everything you think is funny, everything that you like to wear, everything that you do, anything, you are a mimic of this devil. You are a mimic. You are a mimic. That's why I say, you always hear me say when I meet Africans and the brother that I'm communicating with now, everything to how they smell, I want it. You see what I'm saying? If you don't wear no drawers, goddammit, I don't want to wear no drawers. If you wear socks, I'll wear socks. If you walk with your left foot first, I want to walk with mine first. If you sit a certain way, I want to sit that way. Because everything that we are is a fucking mimic. When you see your African brother and sister, that's you in authenticity, in motion. So when they say is no good to the economy in the wild or natural state, because see, in the natural state, we're not trying to be with them or anything about their fucking ass. Then we have unity. That's our natural state. Stay with me. So that's our wild and natural state, is unity, brotherhood. You understand? You understand that in Africa, you don't really walk past people and just not fucking speak. That's one of the things they get surprised by when they come here. How people just walk right past and don't say a fucking thing. It is our natural way to speak. Wave, do something, god damn it. You see? Because in our natural state, we have unity. And we're not interested in being a part of them. We're just happy to be amongst our own. And so their whole shit crumbles. All of it. All of it. Suddenly, Dr. Dre is not selling Beats by Dre to fucking whoever he sold it to. He's keeping it for African people and saying, no, bitch, you will never have this. You see what I'm saying? And offering them a left testicle or something to lick on. In our natural state, we are not subservient to them. In our natural state, we're not their consumers. In our natural state, we collapsed our whole fucking empire because we built this bitch anyway. Starting with our 400 years of free, goddammit, labor. Free. Free. And now the white devil stands up 2018 and goes, well, they just want to get on welfare and get all their stuff, and they're having all these kids to get money, and fuck you because we're owed so much more. And to that sister who is a single mother, or even a brother and a sister struggling on food stamps, you hold that damn food stamp high every time you spend that bitch. Hold up the line. You understand? So they know you got a coin that you didn't fucking have to work for. This is for the ancestors. Damn it. No good to the economy in the wild or natural state. Both must be broken and tied together for orderly production. For orderly future, special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring. Think about this now. Get comfortable, troops, because we have to discern this. For orderly future, comma, special and particular, not just particular and special, but special and particular. That's very specific. Special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring. Both must be crossbred to produce a variety of division of labor. And to produce a variety and division of labor. They must be crossbred to produce a variety and division of labor. You see? What is it saying to us there? It's saying you get that woman and that young child, male or female, and they must be crossbred. So this could be the having the mother to have sex with her son when he's puberty. It can be the white devil having sex with that woman. You understand? It could be his son or his children having sex with the slave, or having that young male slave boy have sex with his daughter. You see what I'm saying? We crossbreed to produce a variety and division of labor. But both must be taught to respond to a particular new language. Psychological and physical instruction of containment must be created for both. Read that again, Jedi. Both must be taught to respond to a peculiar new language. Psychological and physical instruction of containment must be created for both. Psychological and physical instruction of containment must be created for both. Psychological and physical instruction. Mind and body, do this, do that. Physical and mental instruction of containment. I feel like there's a letter or something missing. Maybe it's supposed to be plural. Psychological and physical instructions of containment must be created, for both. We'll come back to that. We hold the 6 cardinal principles as truth to be self-evident. Interesting choice of words. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. This kind of a take on that. We hold the 6 cardinal principles of truth to be self-evident. Based upon the following, the discourse concerning the economics of breaking and tying the horse to the black man together, all inclusive of the 6 principles laid down about. All inclusive of the 6 principles laid down about. We're going to go back. We hold the 6 cardinal principles as truth to be self-evident. Okay, they've not introduced us to the 6 cardinal principles. Unless, those were principles, and so, but those weren't being itemized when I was pointing out. They're using the word principle. They're using the word principle. They were more talking about the nigger and the horse being broken and being tied together. This is a different concept when they're saying now, we hold the 6 principles of truth to be self-evident based upon the following, the disclosure concerning the economics of breaking and tying the horse and the slave together. All inclusive of the 6 principles laid down about. Note, neither principle alone will suffice for good economics. All principles must be employed for orderly good of the nation. Accordingly, both a wild horse and a wild or nature slave is dangerous, even if captured. For they will have the tendency to seek their customary freedom, and in doing so might kill you in your sleep. I want to stop. Because when they say neither principle alone will suffice in good economics, all principles must be employed for orderly good of the nation. So this is the collusion, you understand. This is the collusion, and we can infer the paragraph before that about the for fear of the future generations not understanding the principles of breaking both the beast, meaning the slave, and the horse. We understand the short-range planning and economics, etc., etc. So we could infer this here. Neither principle alone will suffice, and etc. All right. All principles must be employed for orderly good of the nation. Accordingly, both a wild horse and a wild or nature slave is dangerous. So when we get on fucking YouTube and we're talking conscious, or we're talking about fucking Willie Lynch, this pisses the fucking white devil off. Do you understand me? Because we are in captivity, but we're in our natural state, and we can't have that. We need you saying Jesus is the Lord, and we need you saying that everybody's good, and you can't say some people are bad, and you can't, and you can't. Yes, the fuck I can. Accordingly, both a wild horse and a wild or nature African is dangerous even if captured. See? A nature slave, I'm not going to use the fucking nigger bullshit, is dangerous even if captured. Even if captured. That's why when they take our freedom fighters, they put them in jail, you see? Or you think about Angela Davis, and she was in exile in Cuba and all of it, you see? Just her presence is a threat to them. Her presence. You need to really know what's going on with this damn enemy, because this represents them. You understand? Remember, you're in a fictional environment. This is not your habitat. Everything that you know is them. Okay, all the shit that we invented, but that's something else. You see? You don't just take this as a historical document and, oh, okay, and then go out and get you a white bitch. No. And if you got a white bitch, you read this, you go, okay, no, I'm done with you. I'm done. They're like, we can't. The history is too poisonous. And it's not just the history, it's current. So bye-bye. Gotta go. Gotta run far and fast and find me a sister. Oh my God, I can't. How am I doing, KR? So is dangerous even if captured, for they will have a tendency to seek their customary freedom. Imagine that. Somebody would actually want to seek their freedom that was God-given. Can't imagine that would happen. You see? To seek their customary freedom. And in doing so, just might kill you in your damn sleep. You cannot rest. They sleep while you are awake. And are awake when you sleep. They are dangerous near the family house. And it requires too much labor to watch them away from the house. Above all, you cannot get them to work in this natural state. Hence, both the horse and the slave must be broken. This is breaking them from one form of mental life to another. You see? No shade, but you see somebody like Phil on the Advice Show, he's a broken slave. I am a king, I am a warrior, I am a steed, an unbridled horse. You see? He's never going to say anything that's going to piss off NASA and get his channel shut down. I'm just using him as one example. He's just the only name that comes to mind. Again, no personal shade. I don't even know him. But I notice I can speak on this. You see? So, as long as we have that, those who want to cower and duck their head low, you see, instead of, you see, there's a difference. There's a difference. But now when he talks about, and the black people just being ratchet, he goes all the way in. Because Massa, that's going to sound good to Massa. I can get away with that. You see, I have no respect for a man that doesn't have a pair of nuts hanging between his legs. And mine hang very low and heavy. Know this. Hence, both the horse and the slave must be broken. That is breaking them from one form of a mental life to another. Mental slavery, everybody. Mental slavery. Again, you're not authentic. You're not having an authentic experience. You're not authentic and original. You're not. Because mental slavery, to take them to breaking them from one form of mental life to another. Keep the body, take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. Nope, I won't talk about Massa on YouTube. I don't want my Twitter account to be shut down. I gotta keep my Facebook. See? I gotta get my Patreon. We are infested with weak, broken slaves. Infested, I proclaim. Keep the body, take the mind. In other words, break the will to resist. Now, the breaking process is the same for both the horse and the slave, only slightly varying in degrees. But as we said before, there is an art in long-range economic planning, economics. You must keep your eye and thoughts on the female and the offspring of the horse and the slave. A brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles. Pay little attention to the generation of original breaking, but concentrate on future generations. You see? We're going to read that again so we can do a dissertation. You must keep your eye and thoughts on the female and the offspring. You see? That's why it's the young black man that's always going to jail. That's why this term has become consistent in the vernacular. Even you see some dude that's 50 years old referring to himself as the young black man because it's stuck in his brain. It's been attached to him psychologically, and now it's coming out involuntarily. You see? And so it's always that. And then who do we see stepping to the mic? It's always the black woman crying. You see? Trayvon Martin gets killed, we see his mother. His father came later. But everything's focused on his mother. Same with Mike Brown. You see? Eric Garner gets killed, we see his wife. We don't see no cases where it's like only a father, and it's a father, and it's a father. It's always the woman. You see? And what does every brother say? They love their mama. They get some money when they buy their mama a house. Even if she's still married and got a husband, no, they when they buy their mama a house. You see? Remember, they've already studied us. They're watching us close. So when they say in varying degrees, you must keep an eye and thought on the female and the offspring of the horse and the slave. You keep an eye on them. Your eye and thoughts are on them. A brief discourse in offspring development will shed light on the key to sound economic principles. Pay attention to the generation of original, pay little attention to the generation of original breaking. We already got them. They're in the Christian church, we got them. The pastor is breaking them off every fucking time, we got them. Those are the original breakings. We got that. We got that. So I'm saying, but concentrate on the future generation. Throw them Nicki Minaj when she's got her ass out, she's got nothing on. Quick, take Lauryn Hill away. Quick, take those Fugees out of there. Take Arrested Development out. You see what I'm saying? Take Diggle Planets out. You see what I'm saying? Give them this. But concentrate on future generations. They were planning their evil long into the future until now. You understand? Don't give me that shit. And this is why they don't get no pass. And don't give me that I didn't know and I didn't know and I'm an ally and fuck you and get out of my face. Therefore, if you break the female mother, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. And when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. Therefore, if you break the female mother, she will break the offspring in the early years. She'll take you right on up into the Christian church and indoctrinate you in that. She will tell you, don't make massa mad. Just love them and forgive them. The Lord don't like ugly. Two wrongs don't make a right. She's indoctrinating you. You see, if you break the female mother, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. And when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. Huh? For her normal female protective tendencies, there's a comma, I should go on. She will deliver it up to you. For her normal female productive tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. For her normal female protective tendencies to protect her child will have been lost in the original breaking process. Huh? Not just that one, but hers too. For example, take the case of the wild stud horse, a female horse and an already infant horse, and compare the breaking process with two captured slave males in their natural state. A pregnant slave woman with her infant offspring. Take the stud horse, break him for limited containment, so she doesn't rely on him. You see? We'll read it again. For example, I'll read the whole thing. Therefore, if you break the female mother, she will break the offspring in its early years of development. And when the offspring is old enough to work, she will deliver it up to you. For her normal female her normal female protective tendencies will have been lost in the original breaking process. I want to deal with that. Her normal female protective tendencies. That means also understanding that a man is supposed to protect and provide for her as well. That's also inferred here. So when you get up with this, I don't want no man, I don't need no man. You see what I'm saying? You're going against what is all natural, holy, and sacred. You see? But, okay, so for her normal female protective tendency and also to protect her child will have been lost in the original breaking process. For example, take the case of the wild stud, the Jedi, and a female horse. and an infant horse. So there's me, my woman horse, and our baby. All right? And compare the breaking process with two captured slaves, two captured male slaves in their natural state. Not that massive bullshit. In their natural state. Two of them. A pregnant female and her infant. Take the stud horse, break him for limited containment. Now, completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle. Whereas you or anybody can ride her in her comfort. Because you've already taken that sense of her man out of her. You see? Completely break the female horse until she becomes very gentle. Whereas you or anybody can ride her in comfort. I date me a white man. I don't have no problem with no white man. Not knowing she's only supposed to be, only knowing she's only supposed to be and can be protected by a proper Mandingo Katie. I'm so pissed off right now, I can't even tell you. I'm just seething. Breed the mare and the stud until you have the desired offspring. That could be in numbers or in color. Then you can turn the stud to freedom until you need him again. Train the female horse whereby she will eat out of your hand. And she will, in turn, train the infant horse to eat out of your hand also. When it comes to breaking the uncivilized slave, use the same process, but vary the degree and step up the pressure so as to do a complete reversal of the mind. Take the meanest and most restless slave, strip him of his clothes in front of the remaining male slaves, the female and the infant. Tar and feather him, tie each leg to a different horse, faced in opposite directions, set him afire, and beat both horses to pull him apart in front of the remaining slaves. The next step is to take a bullwhip and beat the remaining slave male to the point of death in front of the female and the infant. Don't kill him, but put the fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. Now, so this is why you leave Mike Brown's body in the street for 6 hours, or whatever the hours it was, after you kill him. You see, this is why. This is why they always show, anytime they get footage of a police shooting, they immediately show it. We warn you, the footage you're about to see is going to be graphic, but because that's the modern day, pull the horses again and tear you apart, and let the other ones watch. It's that now. It's just because it's on fucking TV and you can watch it on your little phone means nothing. This is the same thing. It's the same damn thing. Do you understand what I'm telling you? It's the same shit. So this is why they do this, because they get some ratings also, but it's also helping to continue to put fear on you. Fear that you could never go against this devil and be victorious. You could never do it. Go back to Birth of a Nation. We saw this. You know, Nat Turner had to get those slaves. What I tell you all the time, fear is your Achilles heel. I always say this to you. Fear is your Achilles heel, and the white devil knows it. Fear is your Achilles heel. The moment you put down fear, it's going to be a new day in fucking Jerusalem. Understand that. But he had to get those slaves to overcome fear. And when that one house they came out there, like, you can't beat master, you can't, they was like, take your bitch ass. This is not about you. Take your shit. Because they had to get rid of that fear. Fear. It's like with anybody that's incarcerated. Like I tell you guys, I was a corrections officer for 3.5 years in a men's prison. And before that, 2 years of juvenile corrections. But particularly in the men's prison, this is significant what we're reading here about fear and all that, because there was always more inmates than us. You understand? Always. So they could take the institution anytime they wanted and just walk out. And it would be truthful for any institution in this bitch. But why they don't is because of fear. If I leave out here, they probably gonna catch me, they probably gonna shoot me, or I get so far, they gonna have me on the news, and all that stuff plays on fear. Instead of saying, fuck it, I'm out this bitch. I'm taking the institution, I'm walking out, I'm done. You see, fear is the thing that keeps you there. So you could really take down the barbed wire and the razor wire and all the shit, because fear will hold them there. Fear. 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 So when we read to do all this tar and feather him and tie his leg to each horse and all the shit, you see, this is modern day. We're seeing that version of that right now. Nothing has changed. Yesterday is today and today is yesterday, everybody. Not shit has changed. Nothing. 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 And we only use dates to connote chronology, not to suggest that there's been any movement. We just need to, you want to know what, it's still Wednesday, but is it 3 o'clock or is it 8 o'clock? Still Wednesday, though. It's not like, oh, it's 8 o'clock, it's Friday now. No, it's just 8 o'clock, bitch, it's still Wednesday. You see? So it's the same principle. That's why we don't, it's 2018, I can't believe this is happening. I can't. And also, when it says, but don't kill him, put the fear of God in him, for he can be useful for future breeding. That's not just like physical breeding. You see, he can be used as an example. You see, you might be thinking about running away, but you look over there and see his eye has been, removed and shit, and his fucking arm is missing and all the shit, and that's more fear stacked on you. More fear. More fear. So it doesn't have to be physical breeding. You see, he can be useful for the future. All right. The breaking process in the African woman. Take the female and run a series of tests on her to see if she will submit to your desires willingly. Test her in every way, because she is the most important factor for good economics, because she pumps out the babies. If she shows you any signs of resistance in submitting completely to your will, do not hesitate to use the bullwhip on her to exact the last bit of resistance out of her. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so you spoil the good economics. When in complete, I want to talk about Roma, Africa. There's if you just denounce this shit and, take this plea, you can get out now. She's like, fuck all y'all, I'm taking the full years. Take me to jail. That's a warrior woman. That's a warrior. That is a warrior. A warrior. A warrior. Ask yourself, would you have done that? Because you probably can't even imagine the space of what that is to be able to stand that firm. Freedom or sell my ass. Take care not to kill her, for in doing so you ruin the economics. When in complete submission, she will train her offspring in the early years to submit to labor when they become of age. See what I'm saying? Understanding is the best thing. Therefore, therefore, we shall go deeper into this area of the subject matter concerning what we have produced here in the breaking process of the female slave. I got to stop because I was going to comment on something before that, and I was going to say when they were saying that she will train her offspring in the early years to submit to labor. This is right up there with we've had the talk with our son, and we've told him, make sure that if they pull you over, you make sure you have both your hands on the wheel, say yes sir, no sir, and make sure you have it. No, bitch, no. You're teaching them how to be a slave and how to fucking grow a vagina. That's what this is. You see, I can't. We have reserved the relationship in her natural uncivilized state. We have reversed the relationship in her natural civilized state. She would have strong dependency on the uncivilized slave male. Hear that, everybody. We've reversed the relationship in her natural, and they're calling it uncivilized state, which would be our natural state. They're saying uncivilized. or they're saying natural uncivilized. All right, we have reversed the relationship in her natural uncivilized state. She would, I think there should have been a comma somewhere in this bitch. We have reversed the relationship, comma, in her natural uncivilized state, comma, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized black male. And she would have a limited protective tendency towards her independent male offspring, because that man would be protecting him. You see? So she would have a limited protective tendency towards her independent male offspring, because he's going to be a king like his father, and she's relying on the father. So we're going to reverse that. We don't want her relying on him. We can't have her relying on that nigger. We can't have it. You see? We'll read it again and go on. We have reversed the relationship in her natural uncivilized state. We have reversed the relationship, comma. In her natural uncivilized state, she would have a strong dependency on the uncivilized black male. And she would have a limited protective tendency over her independent male offspring, and would raise male offspring to be dependent like her on that black father. Nature has provided for this type of balance. We reverse nature by burning and pulling a civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other to the point of death, all in her presence. No, he can't do anything for you. He's got no power. You see? It's your slave master. It's me. I'm powerful. You see? So when that brother stands with a cell phone while his brother's being brutalized by the fucking police and he doesn't fucking murder the motherfucker to get him off his brother, that's what we're talking about here. You understand what I'm telling you? Do you understand what I'm telling you? We reverse nature. Forget that. By burning and pulling a civilized nigger apart and bullwhipping the other in front of her to the point of death in her presence. By her being left alone, unprotected, with the male image destroyed, the ordeal caused her to move from her psychological dependent state to a frozen independent state. You see, now she's not progressing because the nature has been disturbed. She's in a frozen independent state. I don't need no man. Frozen independent state. I don't need no man. Frozen independent state. I don't need no man. I got my own. Frozen independent state. In this frozen psychological state of independence, she will raise her male and female offspring in reversed roles. Should have a choice, because that man isn't there to protect and provide for all of them. To be the hawk in the sky. I got y'all. I got you. No, baby, it's like this. We're doing this. Come on. You see? She will raise her male and female offspring in reversed roles. So now you don't need no man to take care of you. You're supposed to have your own. Don't be thinking you're gonna raise up and you gonna grow up and get you no man. Girl, men ain't nothing. Take it from your mama. I know you can't get no good man. And she on the phone. Girl, I can't even get no good man. Girl, they ain't nothing. And that little girl was picking it up. You see? And then the boy is in the reverse role because she had all that sympathy on him. So he don't think he's supposed to be shit anyway. And he think he's supposed to just have some female take care of him. She will raise the male and the female offspring in a reverse fucking role. For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent. Make sure when massa pull you over that you say yes sir, no sir, and make sure that you forgive and this and the third. For fear of the young male's life, she will say, I just don't want them to do nothing to my child. Please don't hit them. Please just do what they tell you. So they don't give them no reason. Don't give them no reason. Just go with it. Do what they tell you. Not mama loves you, fight to the death, and whatever happens, God is almighty. You see? For fear of the young male's life, she will psychologically train him to be mentally weak and dependent. That's why we ain't got nothing but bitch ass niggas, but physically strong. Hard ass niggas all over the bitch. Nothing but bitches. But they hard. You see? Physically are mentally weak and dependent, but physically strong. What you do, man? They're 32. What you do, man? Oh, I'm seeing my mom's right now. Right now? Bitch, you're 32. When weren't you staying with mom? What does right now mean? Translate right now for me. What does right now mean? You see? Mentally weak and independent, but physically strong. Physically weak and dependent, not independent. Dependent, but physically strong. That's why they go from their mama skirt to a sister, because they're dependent and weak, but physically strong. Because she has become psychologically independent, she will train her female offspring to be psychological. I think they meant psychologically independent. You don't need no man. You don't need no man. As she smokes her Newport, you don't need no man. You see, she will train her female offspring to be psychologically independent. Question, tell me what you think about this. Try to control me where you get dismissed. See what I'm saying? Because she has become okay, we read that. What you have got, what have you got? Question mark. You've got the black woman out front and the man behind and scared. Every time it says police shooting, it's to be the sister stepping at the mic. How many y'all that been with me forever, y'all know I've said this a million times. I'm sick and tired of it be all women that step to the mic. It's all niggas always standing in the back, if they even up there. You see? What have you got? Question mark. You've got the nigger woman out front and the nigger man behind and scared. This is a perfect situation of sound sleep and economic. Before the breaking process, because with him dead and scared and her trying to be independent, perpetual consumer. Perpetual consumer. It's definitely good for the economy. You see what I'm saying? And then we can put him in jail and that's more money. So that's good. So build another prison because they coming. You see? Before the breaking process, we had to be alertly on guard at all times before the breaking process. Now we can sleep soundly. When the reporter goes into the Valdosta police station and says, we want to know about the case of Kendrick Johnson, and the fat white devil says, get out of my office. And he says, why won't you talk to me about this? Because I don't want to. Because we are the breaking process. This is a perfect situation of sound sleep and economics. Before the breaking process, you had to be alertly on guard at all times. Now you can sleep soundly because that fat ass knows we're not coming through his window in the middle of the night to take his fucking jugular out of his throat. We can sleep soundly, for out of frozen fear, his woman stands guard for us. Don't go over and do that for Massa. I don't want you to leave. I want you to get in trouble. Please don't do nothing to Massa. For out of frozen fear, his woman stands guard for us. Haven't you heard me say, we need sisters, don't give these motherfucking niggas a place to, a refuge, tell them you need to get your bitch ass out there in the streets and be doing something? Like about the oppression of our damn people? And I've said stop giving them safe haven? This is what we're talking about right here, everybody. His woman stands guard for us. He cannot get past her early slave molding. He cannot get past her early slave molding process. He is a good tool, now ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age. You see, it's metaphorical for success, and we've got him. You see, now ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age. We can even infer the school to prison pipeline. You see, oh, your kid came to school today, and we had to put him in detention. We had to put him in handcuffs. You see, now ready to be tied to the horse at a tender age. By the time a black boy reaches the age of 16, he is soundly broken in and ready for a long life of sound and efficient work and the production of a unit of good labor force. And that could be anything that I just named for you. It could be school to prison pipeline. It could be jail. It could be all the bullshit. You understand what I'm telling you? The criminal record, putting you on parole, anything, By the time he reaches 16, he's soundly broken in and ready for a long life of sound and efficient work. And also that would include, and the reproduction of a unit of good labor. That would also include no fight, no heart of the lion in him. So he's not growing up at 16 and saying, we got to fucking get this white devil, and I'm sick of this bullshit, and blah, blah, blah. He's not seeking out his history, and nothing matters. And he's probably got him a white bitch, you understand what I'm saying? He's listening to fucking Kanye West, and the shit's and shit, and you could just keep on inferring and inferring and inferring into the shit. Continually through the breaking and uncivilized savage black, by throwing the black female savage into a frozen psychological state of independence. And we talked about that already. By killing off the prospective male image. Huh? Well, he's gay. Huh? Oh, is that Dennis Rodman in a dress? Huh? You see, is that Wayne Brady on Broadway in lipstick and heels? Huh? You see? By killing off the protective male image. Also, kill your man down the street and hold you back. You don't see no niggas going to get that white devil. Kill off, by killing of the prospective male image. Have the Clippers put on t-shirts. That's protest. Have your NFL players take a knee, not just walk off the fucking field and say, I'm over this bitch forever. You see? By killing off the protective male image. And by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the slave male, of the male slave. Submissive. I can't walk off because I'll lose my contract. I can't even, you see? That's a slave mind. A broken heart. A broken spirit. That's not a steed. Oh my God, I'm going to take a break before we get to this next header, everybody. I can't. By creating a submissive, dependent, male slave, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever unless a phenomenon occurs and reshifts the position of the male and female slaves. We show what we mean by example. Take the case of the two economic slave units and examine them closely. That was the example. So I think they would take these cases, whatever. Oh my God. Wow. It'll just be a click for you and a transition. I'm taking a break. Because I'm worked up and I need to just replenish. I just need to replenish. I'll see you soon. Get the ambiance. Oh, great. Okay. Well, it's been a minute, y'all. I've been gone for a minute. Now I'm back with the jump off. Goons in the club, in case something jumps off. Back up for the high, put the pumps off. It is now 5:18 a.m. Thank you. Please sit down. Thank you. Thank you. Please take your seat. Please. Oh, please. Please. You're killing me. All right. Let us begin. So, we left off at the nigger marriage. I'm over it. I want to say before we get into this next half, if you will. First of all, that break was very cathartic for me. Something that you need to know about me, especially if you're somebody that's exposed to me for the first time. And even if you're an old viewer, an old faithful, if he is nothing else, the Jedi is a man of conviction and principle, with a red-hot moral compass for righteousness. That's why I talk about it so much. That's why I preach it. I live it. I breathe it. I submit to it. I champion it. Because truth is the light in darkness. It is an unviewable light because it's so bright. Truth. And since I was a child, I was always someone who would disrupt darkness with the light of truth. It's as normal to me as breathing. I proclaim to you. When I was very young, there was one time this lady came to my grandmother's house. She might have been a social worker or something. Because remember, my mom died when I was 6 months old, and literally on her deathbed, she said to my grandmother, "We don't need no papers. I give them to you to raise as you see fit." And so it may have been like a social worker, because my grandmother was, raising 8 kids on a social security check and welfare and all of it. And so this must have been who this lady was. But I remember she came to our house and she stunk. And I said, "You stink." And my grandma, "You mustn't say that, you mustn't." I miss her scoldings. "You mustn't." But she always had a laugh after that. Like later that day or the next day, she'd always have a laugh about it. She'd be on the phone telling somebody, "Sister, you ain't gonna believe. He just is mannish." And I understood her tenderness. She was, in her own way, because she was and is, even in death, the mirror spirit of me. And she could feel my spirit even before I could and knew I had one. And I knew my grandmother knew that I was a firebrand, but she knew what I didn't know because I was too young. That had to be harnessed and dispensed carefully, if at all, you know. And as I got older, certainly when I was into my adult years, had come through my teen years and all that, it wasn't, you mustn't no more. It was, you sure is just like your mama. You sure is just like your mama. Because my mother was like me. She was a firebrand. She would dispense the truth like a bolt of lightning, and she didn't care who it hit. And I've always been that, and I've always been comfortable in that space. I'm absolutely comfortable in that space. It's always surprising to me when people marvel at that in my life. It's surprising, saddening, and disappointing, because then you feel low. You go, damn, I'm in a sea of sharks, and like I'm the only koi fish, you know. So what you need to know about the Jedi is that there's no way that a personality and a character like myself could be an African man in this environment, knowing my history, constantly pursuing the truth of that history, and speak about it and react to it as if we're just talking about burgers or something. I don't have that capacity. I don't have that. I'm a very introspective man, and I don't try to claim anything in life that I don't have. If I don't have it, I just don't have it. Doesn't matter what it is. If I don't have it, I don't have it. And one thing that I know about myself is that when Allah was giving out the genes for everything, He put that one back on the shelf. No, just let him be the firebrand. Just let him be the firebrand. Because you see, truth is godliness. Because when you think about the 99 attributes of the Most High, it's all things powerfully good. And truth is right up there at the top of the list. It's right up there. Because if it wasn't, then that would be diminutive of the Most High. The Most High is perfection on a level that we don't even have the ability in our lowly human existence to even conjure. We can't even conjure it. Conjure. You can't even conjure it. It's not in your realm. You can't even know what you don't know. You know, you can't even know what you don't know. So, just like they say, cleanliness is next to godliness. Of course. Of course. Of course. We see how Allah creates the earth, how beautiful He lays everything out and decorates it. You know, cleanliness is next to godliness. And He's made the ecosystem such that it cleans itself. Even the oceans filter themselves and all these things. So, I'm also someone who is in love with African people. I'm in love with African people. I love being an African man. I'm in love with my blackness. In love with it. In love. In love. In love. So, if you're someone who dwells in the darkness and you cannot stand the unlookable beam of light that I represent, then crawl back into the darkness. Let us begin. And I want to correct something on a previous video, you guys. It just crossed my mind when I was telling you about this statue. I go, it's the tallest statue in the world, and it's in Ghana, and it's actually in Senegal. It's a statue of an African man and a woman and their child, and it is glorious. There's like 400 steps, even if you just go up to it. Like, their little statue literally looks like a toenail next to it. It's nothing. Like, get out of here. We can't. You know? And somebody, one of the troops, corrected me on that, and I love you for that. I love you. This channel is about knowledge, everybody. It's not about being the smartest or being impressive. It's not about shying away when you don't know something. You know, it's okay to display your ignorance, and we mean that in a positive use of the word. Ignorant. Like, I just don't know that. I don't have a relationship to it. I don't know it. This is the place where you can come and be that freely, because you will learn here, inshallah. That is my objective. You know, I'm not a professor. I'm not, you know, or as we say in Spanish, I'm not a professor. I am not a laureate. I'm not a scholar. I'm not a sheikh. I am not an amen. I'm not, you know, a guru. What I am is you. I'm you. And even if you don't think you're me, I'm your possibility. I love when I'm in the room with people that are smarter than me, which I rarely am, because I always have to dumb myself down. But I love when I'm in rooms with people that are smarter than me, because they represent my possibility. Doesn't matter, it could be a child. I learn a lot from children. A lot. A lot. So, it is my possibility. Oh, I can know that. If you're in school, you know, maybe you're in high school or middle school, maybe you're in college. Whatever courses you're taking, every classroom you walk into, that professor is your possibility. That's your possibility. That's why you're there, to learn. Such is the case here. You see? And I'm always willing to admit when I'm ignorant on something. I will tell you in a heartbeat, I don't know this. I don't know it. I don't know it. You know? And then I usually try and make that a collective, and I'll say, okay, troops, fan out and go find that out. Let's see if we can find that out, and somebody bring that back. And to a fault, we always get the answer on whatever it is that I requested. Somebody always has got it. Jedi, here it is. This is what we're looking for. Here's a link. Here's something, whatever it is. And I love that. And don't ever hesitate to be interactive. You understand? Don't. In fact, one of the things I'm going to say this, we're going to move on, I promise. One of the things I love about K.R. Watkins, the one that I told you at the beginning of the piece that's responsible for this video, who was the provocation for this video. One thing I've observed about her over the years that I've known her, and obviously I've never been to her house, we haven't sat down and had dinner, she doesn't owe me money, you know. But I'm very perceptive. It's one of my gifts. I'm also clairvoyant, and I have a sixth sense. And I feel energy. But I don't think that I needed all of those skills. I think all I need to do is be observant. That's not extraordinary. And what I've observed, I see how all of you guys communicate. It's a window into you, because I don't get a chance to hear your voice. Many of you I don't get a chance to see, you know, or talk to. That's why I'm always pushing, you know, hit me up on Skype. Let's do Skype. So I've only left with what I see in your writings. I've seen some of her blogs, her videos, and certainly the way that she communicates on work that we do here on the channel. And she is someone who is, I would describe as on. You know, there's a lot of people proclaiming they're conscious and woke and all that stuff now, but are you on? are you on? And I look at her comment structure. Sometimes she will have several comments on a video, and I take all of those things in, and so I really respect your intellect, KR. I respect your intellect, your curiosity, your thoughtfulness, your tenacity for knowledge is my perception. I love that about you. I love that. And you're kind of cute too. You're very beautiful, actually. But I love and respect that about you, absolutely. So I'll talk more about that. But let's get into this now. We're at the nigger marriage. I feel like there was something I was going to make, a comment I was going to make on the previous paragraph. Let me just look at it. Continually through the breaking. Let me bring you guys in. I'm sorry. I just looked at it. I just seen it. Oh, continually through the breaking of uncivilized savage nigger, they throw the black female into a frozen psychological state of independence by killing off the protective male image, and by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the female slave, and by creating a submissive, dependent mind of the male slave. We have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever. That's what I wanted to make sure that I just addressed. That it's perpetual. That it's a cycle that you now hold up and cultivate on your own. You see, we have created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever. Again, this was not a short-term proposition. And it was a word we saw earlier, comprehensive. What does that mean, Jedi? Comprehensive means, let's say you're going to have a party, just so everybody can understand. Let's say you're going to have a party, and you're going to have a cake. That's your party. Now, a comprehensive party would be, we're bringing guests in by stretch limo. We're going to have streamers. It's going to be dancers. We're going to have food. It's going to be bringing in a DJ. It's going to be lighting. That's comprehensive. We're covering all the bases. You see, and we're going to do it just, on a ledge that overlooks the Bahamas or something. That's comprehensive. Comprehensive was the word we saw. I wanted to just point that out as we get into this next paragraph. And there's not much more left, everybody, and then we're going to go and start landing this plane. So buckle up. We breed 2 black males with 2 black females. Then we take the black males away from them and keep them moving and working. I don't know if they mean in the brothers or the sisters. But they're taking somebody away and keep them moving and working. I'm presuming it's the brothers. Say one female bears one black female bears a black female, and the other bears a black male. Both black females being without influence of the male image, meaning the adult women, both of them being without the influence of the male image, frozen with an independent psychology. Shoes on my feet, I bought it. Clothes I'm wearing, I bought it. Alright? Frozen with an independent psychology, will raise their offspring into reverse positions. So those two females, one has a girl, one has a boy. They will raise them children in reverse positions. The one with the female offspring will teach her to be like her. You don't need no man. Will teach her to be like herself, independent and negotiable. We negotiate, and then in parentheses, we negotiate with her through, we negotiate with her, through her, by her, we negotiate her at will. The one with the male, she being frozen with a subconscious fear for his life, will raise him to be mentally dependent and weak. They're touching on themes that they've talked about already. But physically strong, right? Remember? In other words, body over mind. Now, in a few years, when these two offspring become fertile for early reproduction, we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle. Think about that. That's right now. When these two offspring become fertile for early reproduction, you see, I'm 16, I'm having a baby. Oh man, I got a baby mama. For early reproduction, we will mate and breed them and continue the cycle. This is, and then also as it related to slavery, because, you know, that's more slaves, that's more product, that's more work, and therefore the economy of that slave owner and the overall society. We will mate and breed them and continue the cycle. That is good, sound, and long-range comprehensive planning. You see, there's that word again, comprehensive. We've covered all the bases. I'm saying, we'll make these two with that one, and when they have kids, we're going to make their ass, and so it's comprehensive. Comprehensive. I will start from now on, everybody, when we do articles, I will always, like we just finished that last segment about the marriage, I'll always have it rolled up like this so that you know where I'm starting. That way you don't have to be like, where's he reading at? You know, right? Earlier we talked about the non-economic good of the horse and the nigger. Wait, we need to do this for just 1 second. I need to just check to make sure that we got things going on and I'm not, you guys aren't in the blind. Earlier we talked about the non-economic good of the horse and the slave in their wild or natural state. We talked about the principle of breaking and tying them together for orderly production. Furthermore, we talked about paying particular attention to the female savage and her offspring for orderly future planning. Then more recently, we stated that by reversing the position of the male and the female savages, reversing the positions, we created an orbiting cycle that turns on its own axis forever, unless a phenomenon occurred and unless a phenomenon occurred and resift and positions of the male and female savages. I think that's a misprint. I think they mean unless a phenomenon occurred and it shifted the position of the male and the female savages, right? What do they mean? Because they mentioned that earlier. Unless a phenomenon occurred. You see, this is where you come in with revolution. You understand? Let me just check my lighting, you guys. Give me a second. Yeah, so this phenomenon, you see, anything that would disrupt that, you know, us waking up, you know, would be one thing, you know, taking command of our own lives and dictating our own culture to ourselves and not letting it be influenced by anything outside of ourselves, particularly this enemy, you see. So unless a phenomenon occurred and, you know, to change the position of the male and the female savages. Our experts warned us about the possibility of this phenomenon occurring. For they say that the mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time, if I can touch some substantial original historical base. And they advise us that the best way to deal with the phenomenon is to shave off the brute's mental history and create a multiplicity of phenomena, of illusions, so that each illusion will twirl in its own orbit, something similar to floating balls in a vacuum. I want to stop and say this. This signals to me, the reader, when they say, you have a natural, let's read it. Experts warned us that about the possibility of this phenomenon occurring, where they say the mind has a strong drive to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time. So we're liking that to this woke now, you see, and conscious and all of it. All right? Keep that in mind. Over a period of time. All right? It has the desire to recorrect itself over a period of time. If I can touch some substantial original historical base, and they advise us, I think they meant if it can touch some substantial original historical base. All right? Well, we don't have any substantial original historical base because everything was ripped away from us. Our language, our history, our music, our culture, our religion, our everything. You understand? I was just watching something, the Kamal or Kamu, whatever his name is. He does this CNN thing about race, and he looks like a Tasmanian hair and glasses. He's really dark skinned, and one thing that I was besieged by while watching it was the fact that they can trace their people back. We can't. You might know your grandmama and your great-grandmama, maybe, maybe. You see? And so I also had this thought as well at that time. I thought, well, the next time you're in a conversation about race with somebody white, you just, or if it's not the conversation, you just bring it up. You see? And you just ask me to say, who's your just be like, do you ever hear about, what do you think about ancestry.com? Just start it like that doesn't even matter, but just maybe ask that, and then just any answer they can give, we don't care, just whatever, and say, so who's your grandma? And then they'll tell you, who's your great grandma? So who's your great grandma? So who was the great grandma? Ooh. And then you look at them and you say, I can't do that. That's slavery. You see? Hit them with that. Not saying it'll work because you're dealing with the devil, but we try. All right. So it wants to correct and recorrect itself over a period of time if it can touch some substantial original historical base, which we can't. But we're seeking. We're reading the Willie Lynch letter right now. You see? We're seeking. And they advise us that the best way to deal with the phenomenon is to shave off the brute's mental history. Get rid of that. Hide your history from you. Don't let them know a damn thing. Insert us in shit where we didn't even exist. All right. Put white people where they clearly couldn't have been. All right. Shave off the brute's mental history and create a multiplicity of phenomena of illusions. What is that now? The illusion is we're all the same and slavery's over and I'm not racist and I don't have a problem. Then run every damn commercial on TV, let it be interracial. Illusion. Tell them that they're free when they don't have any industry, they don't own anything, they don't produce anything, they don't have any land, they don't have anything significant. Illusion. Create a multiplicity of phenomena of illusions. When they elect themselves an African president, let them believe that you are their friend and always have been because you vote for Obama and racism's over. Put a period. Create a multiplicity of phenomena of illusions. Have black Republicans out there supporting Trump and other Republicans, you see, and telling you that, that it's really the Republican Party that's for us, and hashtag walk away. Create a multiplicity of phenomena of illusions so that each illusion will twirl in its own orbit. You see, have you focused this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and you can't follow the ball. That's why I say you have to go inside yourself and begin to purge and cleanse all that is not authentic to Africanness. You understand? And begin to relearn what it is that is authentic for you. So if you got on a blonde ass bundle right now, you need to snatch that bitch out because that's not authentic to Africanness. I could go on. Alright. Each will twirl in its own orbit, something similar to floating balls in a vacuum. This creation of multiplicity of phenomena of illusions entails the principle, there's that word again, of crossbreeding the slave and the horse, as we stated above. The purpose of which is to create a diversified division of labor, thereby creating different levels of labor and different values of illusion at each connecting level of labor. All right. And I think that the word labor is really being used as a metaphorical word as well as literally in this case. I believe that. Especially that last part of the paragraph when it says the purpose of which is to create a diversified division of labor, thereby creating different levels of labor, talking about classism, and I'm lighter than you, and and I have more money than you, and I drive an Escalade, and you don't, and I'm a celebrity, and you don't, and you work at McDonald's, you're on the fryer. You could infer that there. I'm going to infer that. Different values of illusions at each connecting level of labor. The result of which is the severance of the points of original beginnings. The result of which is the severance of the points of original beginnings. That should be self-explanatory. For each sphere illusion. Since we feel that the subject matter may get more complicated as we proceed in laying down our economic plan concerning the purpose, reason, and effect of crossbreeding horse and slave, we shall lay down the following definition terms for future generations. Orbiting cycle means a thing turning in a given path. Axis means upon which or around which a body turns. Phenomenon means something beyond ordinary conception, such as this devil, and inspire awe and wonder. Multiplicity means a great number. Sphere means a globe. Crossbreeding a horse means taking a horse and breeding it with an ass, and you get a dumb, backward ass, long-headed mule that is not reproductive nor productive by itself. Confuse you. You see? Give you integration. So that you don't want to open up your own theater. You don't want to open your own mall. You don't want to open your own grocery store. You don't want to do that. Because we've crossbreeded you. Do you understand? We've put that illusion on you. And therefore, and we've taken your history and everything else, and we've given you a false sense of freedom. And so what we've got is a dumb, backwards ass nigga that is not reproductive and nor productive for himself. Crossbreeding blacks or slaves mean taking so many drops of good white blood and putting them into as many black women as possible. There's your interracial bullshit. I'm mixed. I'm not black. I'm mixed. I'm not black. I'm Jamaican. That slays me into my grave, like they do the funeral and everything. I'm not African. I'm Caribbean or some bullshit. You see, this is what you see confuse you. by putting, crossbreeding means taking one drop of good white blood and putting them into as many black women as possible. That's also not just physical, but it's also mental. You see, the bitch that Kanye West was holding up as some amazing intellectual, guru and all of it, and she's one of those Fox News bitches, and fuck her and the fat bitch that gave birth to that fat bitch. You understand? So we're not just talking about physical, all right? To as many black women as possible, varying the drops by the various tone that you want. You see what I'm saying? So again, we're talking about physical and mental, all right? But certainly the physical, you want a light skin, baby, you want this, you want that, whatever, all right? But it can also do some, again, what I preach to all the time, this whole interracial stuff is so that you have now a new race of people who think like them and act like them and still carry out their evil. Because remember, they had a comprehensive plan for their economic goal. Comprehensive. I'm resurrecting that word. For the tone that you want, and then letting them breed with each other until another cycle of color appears as you desire. And then you put it on the cover of the magazine and say the new race. What this means is this: put the slaves and the horse in a breeding pot, mix some acids and some good white blood, and what do you get? You got a multiplicity of colors of ass backwards, unusual niggers running tied to a backward ass long-headed mule. The one productive of itself, the other sterile. The one constant, the other dying. We keep the slave constant, for we may replace the mules for another tool. Both mule and slave tied to each other, neither knowing where the other came from, and neither productive for itself, nor without each other. Control the language. Crossbreeding completed for further severance from their original beginning. We must completely annihilate the mother tongue. What did we talk about in one of our recent live streams? I went in about language. I was saying to you that one of the ways that we could have independence from this enemy and frustrate them is if we spoke at least one of our original languages from the continent. Because they hate when you speak in a language they don't understand. They hate it. Because remember, they're watching you closely, and any change in behavior is cause for inquiry. So, and as it relates to slavery, when we came here, we spoke languages that they didn't allow you to teach to your children. And most of us were Muslims, and you weren't allowed to practice the religion. You see, other cultures, there's deep value in language because it's access to someone's culture, their habits, and how they think. Because how people say words really matters. I'm trying to give you an example. It's not going to come to me now, so forget it, Jedi. Inshallah, it will come. But what I'm trying to say to you is that's so important that we don't have the language. It's so important because English is a gutter language. It's garbage. And so there's no emotion to the language. There's no culture to the language. But most of all, there's no humanity in the language. I need you to hear that. There's no humanity in the language. So, when you speak in other languages and when you know other languages, you will get that. If I come up with an example before we land this plane, I'll give it to you. I really am praying Allah, something that I can really explain to you will come to me. But let's get back. Crossbreeding completed. Now for further severance from their original beginning. That way, when your African brother comes from Nigeria, you can't speak to him if he doesn't speak English. All right. Further severance from their original beginning. We must completely annihilate, is the word they use, the mother tongue of both the new slave and the new mule, and institute a new language that involves the new life's work of both. You know, language is a particular institution. It leads to the heart of people. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It tells you the soul of somebody. Give me an example, universe. It's like when this is a cheap example, but it's all I got right now. You know, in most or many African languages at least, there is no try. There is no try. Like, what is that? Like, they don't understand it. There's either do or do not. You either do or you do not. That's it. There's not, I'll try. Like, what is that? Try. You either do or you don't. You see? It's like I said, it's a cheap example, but inshallah, the universe will give me something else. Alright. It leads to the heart of a people. The more a foreigner knows about the language of another country, the more he is able to move through all levels of that society. That's why I don't want you speaking no language they can't understand, because they don't know if you're trying to conquer them or not, and more importantly, they can't scheme on you. You see, because they don't know what you know and what you don't know. He is able to move through all levels of the society. Therefore, if the foreigner is an enemy of the country to the extent that he knows the body of the language, to that extent in the country, to that extent is the country vulnerable to attack or invasion of a foreign culture. For example, if you take a slave, if you teach him all about your language, he will know all your secrets. And he is then no more a slave, for you can't fool him any longer. For example, if you told a slave that he must perform in getting out our crops, he knows the language well. And he knows the language well, he would know that our crops didn't mean our crops. And the slavery system wouldn't break, and the slavery system would break down. For he would relate on the basis of what our crops really meant. So you have to be careful in setting up new language for the slaves. So you have to be careful in setting up the new language, for the slaves would soon be in your house, talking to you man to man, and that is death to our economic system. This is why, white people do a lot of information sharing. You see, the majority of tutorials that you would see online, even just to use a cheap example, are produced by white people. You have a lot of software that is free. They're sharing. But there's things they don't tell you, because knowledge is power. It's power. And so, there's a lot of things they want to keep away from you. You know, I know 10 code. 10 code is when, this is S4, I've got a 1015, doing 38, going to, whatever, that's 10 code that police speak, code 4 and, all this shit. So they speak in those codes because they don't want you to know. That's just an example for you. And so one could easily relate that to the system of slavery when they didn't want you to read or write English. Because remember, we came here, we were the people who gave the world the use of language and writing. We did that. So we weren't illiterate, and many of us were absolutely brilliant. But again, I always give you the analogy. I'm a very smart man, highly intellectual and all that stuff. I've been to school, I'm talented, But if you put me in China today, I don't know anything about Mandarin. So I'm that slave that was brought here. If they don't teach me Mandarin and allow me to learn it or read it, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. That was the case with us. All right. Put down this. We couldn't read and write. Couldn't read and write. This bullshit. All right. And we weren't allowed to speak our own language. You know. So in many cases, they didn't want you to talk to each other at all. Because if you're going to talk, you're going to use that language, and they don't know what the fuck you're saying, and that then you might be planning to come to their fucking house and take their jugular vein of them and their bitch-ass wife. You see? And they want to know that. So be careful setting language for the slaves with some, okay, and then this could be death in our economic system. In addition, the definition of words or terms are only a minute part of the process. Values are created and transported by communication through the body of the language. A total society has many interconnected value systems. I think they've been an S on that. A total society has many interconnected value systems. All the values in the society have bridges of language to connect them for orderly working in the society. But for these language bridges, these many value systems would sharply clash and cause internal strife or civil war. The degree of the conflict being determined by the magnitude of the issue or relative opposing strength in whatever form. I'm going to go through that because I didn't really understand what we just read in total, you know. I got it up to, the economic, and that is death to our economic system. In addition, the definition of words or terms are only a minute part of the process. Values are created and transported by communication through the body of language. Values are created and transported by communication through the body of language. Okay, I get that. A total society has many interconnected value systems. Okay, all the values in the society have bridges of language to connect them for orderly working. But for these language bridges, there are many value systems. But for these language bridges, these many value systems will sharply clash. Something's missing, and cause internal strife or civil war. Did they mean, but if these language bridges, or no? But for these language bridges, these many value systems would sharply clash and cause internal civil war. The degree of the conflict being determined by the magnitude of the issue or relative opposing strength in whatever form. Not sure what we just read. For example, if you put a slave in a hog pen and train him to live there and incorporate in him to value it as a way of life completely, the biggest problem you would have out of him is that he would worry you about provisions to keep the hog pen clean. Or the same hog pen and make a slip and incorporate something in his language. Something's missing. I got the first part of it. You put him in a hog pen and you incorporate in him the value of it in a way of life completely. The biggest problem you would have out of him is that he would worry you about provisions to keep the hog pen clean, or the same hog pen and make a slip and incorporate something in his language whereby he comes to value a house more than he does his hog pen. You got a problem. He will soon be in your house. Well, I'll just take it on a basic understanding. It's like what King Leopold II from Belgium did in the Congo, in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. He went there and devalued. Part of their missionary work was to make sure you let them knowledgeable or even concerned or care about the value of the resources that are literally under their feet. You see? Because then they will want them and they will contest you and fight you for it, and they will be in competition with you as part of his language. So this is kind of the same thing, you know. Don't let them know certain things, because then they will want X, Y, and Z. You know, how many people in this country really know about real estate? How many of us really know about real estate? Just use that as an example. Or banking. You know, who can know what the S&P is or the NASDAQ on the stock market and things like this? You see what I'm saying? These are things. And see, this is why you don't have any news programming on TV1 at all. And you didn't have any on BET for a very long time. I can keep going. Soon he will be in your house. All right? And it looks like that lands us at the end of this piece. So, what do I want to say in my summation? I want to say that this is illuminating. First, I want to say thank you to Carol Watkins. And this is illuminating, everybody, but it's also confirming and affirming, especially for me and anybody like me who understands our history, our current condition, and how those two things are one. They are not separate, you understand? And one is perpetual to the next. There's been no break. And what we should come away from this with is, first of all, a healthy dose of anger. But more than that, a healthy dose of awareness. And put that in the sandwich of determination. Because this collusion continues against us. It continues. The gentrification and all of it. You see? It continues. The over obsessive agenda of interracial dating and marriage. These are all part of some comprehensive plan for their economic and political and social gains. We definitely know that without a fact. I'm absolutely clear about that. I don't need a lesson. I'm clear. So, you should review these things. But you first got to accept what I said to you earlier, that you are not an authentic article. You are not. You're not authentic. You're not original. You are a mimic of your oppressor. Even down to your diet. Things that you eat and drink are a mimic. Many of the slaves coming here got sick on the way because the food that they were serving was not the shit that we eat. Our bodies were not, weren't even, it was foreign to us. It was foreign. It was foreign. And to this day, most African people that I've ever met in my life, you can't ever get them to eat anything outside of that fucking boring ass box of shit. Everything's got to taste like chicken or fucking shrimp and lobster. That's it. Saw a video of this chick that that takes whatever food you hate, and she's an amazing chef, and she does something to it and then presents it to you, and you don't even know that it's that, and then you love it, and it's a whole thing, and then later she teaches you how to fix it. Well, this was this brother with an Asian chick. I'm over, but I don't really mind that so much. Didn't need it, but I don't mind it so much. And he hates cauliflower. So, but more than that, it was just, he was so typical in his reaction to it. Just typical. Typical. You see, there's a level of immaturity there. Not like, I'll try it. I don't like it normally, but I'm willing to try it. If there's something new, at least I'll try it. Just to be that mature about the experience itself. Instead of acting like a 3-year-old. You see? So, all of these things play a role. And that even goes to our health. Because we are in an environment that is not serving us. Mentally, physically, or spiritually. Everything about this society is killing us, including its caretakers. Which are the savages that took this bitch over and murdered off over 130 million natives that were here. You are in a foreign environment, everybody. You're like a fish swimming in soda. Do you understand what I'm telling you? You're a saltwater fish that's swimming in fresh water, or a freshwater fish that's swimming in salt water. Everything about this is wrong. Everything that you think is funny, everything that you think is exciting, the things that you like to do, your habits every day, all that stuff is a mimic. It is not authentic. And so we, all of us need to commit to a plan of journey back to authentic self. And one of the things that I have prescribed for that is, I said way back in 2015 probably, when I did my crying on camera, saying that I wanted to move back to Africa. One of the things I said to you in that video is start getting to know Africans wherever you live. To seek out the Africans and just tell them, listen, I came to seek you out and to try to befriend you because you are my authentic self. You understand? The brother Amos that I'm telling you guys, that I've told you guys about, he's a Nigerian brother that I've been communicating with recently. That's why I'm black as hell, because I'm always out in the sun with him. In fact, my hands don't even match my face. I'm over it. But that's what I said to him, and I say all the time to him. He's my authentic self. And we're very close in age too, so I love that. But his whole outlook on life is from a place that I can't even know. And he's only been here in the States for 2 years, just under 2 years. Everything. Just how you perceive a day, you know? It's just all different. But I'm trying to get there. That's why I am going to be moving to Africa, inshallah. You know? Because I call it my journey back to the womb. Back to the womb. To relearn what it is to be an African man. What does that mean? And then to be able to represent that. Because what I'm representing now is stolen, unwanted, leftover cargo in this bitch. That's what I represent. That's what I represent. You know, Dr. Maya Angelou, rest her soul, Queen Mother, she had a saying, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. It's a profound statement for Africans I want you to latch yourself onto that. I want you to latch yourself onto that, because what does that mean, Jedi? What that means is, when you are anywhere, like I'm here speaking to you on a YouTube video right now, I'm here as one, but I stand as 10,000, because I stand for my mother and my father and my grandmother and their mothers and fathers and grandparents and their kids and their mothers and fathers and grandparents and their mothers and fathers and grandparents. I am a culmination of all of that history sitting right here in front of you now. I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. I represent the slaves in the Middle Passage, the ones that made it and the ones that didn't. I stand for those who were lynched, who were burned at the stake, who were tarred and feathered and pulled apart by horses. I stand as 10,000. I stand as that mother who had to sit and watch her husband being torn apart by horses and lynched and beaten. I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. When you embrace that, then you have a different step in your walk, because you understand the history, the ancestors that you represent. You are the living, breathing representation of them now. You are their agent. You understand? You are the face of all of your history. You're the face of that. I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. You walk into a job interview tomorrow to get a job. You're not there for you. I come as one, but I stand as 10,000, because you're standing for all those brothers and sisters that didn't get that job. And you're standing for those who will after you, because you will lay the path for them. You understand? I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. I love that so much. I love that so much. But that's also part of the journey back to self and authenticity, is installing and living by principles like that, quotes and philosophies like that one of Dr. Maya Angelou. It's very important. You have to divorce yourself of things that are obviously European. You've got to get more in touch with African culture. We're in an information age. You can know everything now at the click of a mouse. Click. Okay? You see? Because back in 2015, I had an epiphany. Because the obsession to move to Africa was on me stronger than it had ever been in my life, and still is. And it dawned on me, you should start eating like an African right now. Why wait till you get to Africa? Why wait? You should start eating like an African right now, Jedi. Right now. You see? And so I did that. And that's a big change, because the relationship that they have with food, even the food itself, is beautiful. The spices they use and the way they prepare it and things like that. It's telling you something about your history. It's telling you something about their heart. It's telling you something about yourself. But also remember that the cells of the body, the cells of your body have memory. So even though you exist as that one standing for 10,000 in 2018, your body still knows what has been installed in it from all those centuries back. From those 10,000. Your body still knows. It knows. It knows. And so when you give it things that it is familiar with, even if you don't know it consciously, you see, your biology knows it. It gets it and goes, I'm responding to this. You see, because everything that Allah creates submits except for you and I. Because we have free will. But this body belongs to Allah, and He created it. And He has designed it to do things that He has said it will do. So it will respond when you give it what is meant for it. Do you understand what I'm telling you? So, I always say to people, when you go to Africa, like I know when I touch down in Africa, and by the way, you guys, I'm going to be doing a major fundraiser drive for that. I'll probably start that before the end of the year, because I understand it's going to take time to get that money up where it's going to need to be. But I know that when I step on African soil, there will be a physiological experience that my body and my soul will have because of the cell memory. Because of the cell memory. It will know. It will know. It will know. You take a fish out of the lake, and it flaps around for a little bit, and it just lays there. It just lays there. They don't die right away. They're just laying there. You see what I'm saying? But the moment you put it back in water, you put it in there and it floats, and it goes, and it starts swimming. It just swims far off. It's responding. It's physiologically responding to, I'm in my environment. Yes. You see? It's responding to its environment. So I know that I will have a physiological experience when I touch down on African soil. My body will receive that. You see? Because the cells have memory. Last thing I'll say about that. My grandmother, the queen of my existence, even in death, many years before she passed, several years before she passed, she had to have open heart surgery. She had a quadruple bypass. And they also installed a pacemaker and all of it. The doctor that explained to us the procedure and everything, they had the family all in like one of them chapel things, and the doctor came in and was speaking to the whole family. And my father's, when he was talking about the end of the operation, we saw it back up, and we have to, because he was saying they actually kill you to save you. So they have a way of cooling the heart down till it stops, and then you're on a heart-lung machine, and then they do the work, and on. Then they have a way to rewarm the heart, and then you're on your own. He said, it's going to depend, and he was, Dr. Mahindra, he was from somewhere in the Middle East. He said to us, once we've done that, because the question was, how long will she be in recovery? And he said, that's going to depend on her will to live. Allahu Akbar. It's going to depend on her will to live. The heart has to come back on its own. Cell memory, everybody. So we have to tap into who we were. That will change your moral fabric. That will change you. That will change you. That will change you. You see? This is one of the reasons why I always am saying that and encouraging my people to learn about Islam, because it is our religion. It is. Don't listen to anybody that tells you anything else. Just tell them to go to hell and you're over it. And if they don't like it, tell them to come to the Jedi and I will tell them for you. Because your soul will know. Yeah, this is it. Because remember, I always tell you, Islam is not a religion, it's your way of life. We call it religion for you. But it's God's instruction for everything in your life, from day to night, from birth to death. Everything that you want to know about existence, anything, God has told you in the Quran and through the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You understand? It's about getting back to ourselves. It's about reaching out and start cultivating relationships with African people in just where you live, even the most trifling. We got to start penetrating that shield. It's about evacuating out of your life this toxic enemy. No contact other than that which is necessary. You see, not seeking them out. Drawing closer to self. Self meaning you, the individual, and us as a people. One. Damn it, one. Drawing in. Changing the cycle. Because once your moral fabric changes, your moral compass and your sense of righteousness is at the forefront. Then we will reestablish the natural order, where our boys are not fathers at 15 and our girls are not mothers at 15. You see what I'm telling you? And so that you have grandmothers who actually are grandmothers and not some teenage heifer still running to the club. We're over that. Expressly, we're over that. You've got to immerse yourself in all things African, everybody. Everything. We really don't need any ancestry DNA and all that kind of bullshit. This tells us where we're from. This lets me know. I don't even know exactly which country and exactly what region. You see what I'm saying? I know where I'm from. I know. And so that we can begin to become not the labor that they so desperately need. We contribute still after giving them 400 years of free labor, which set them up eternally. But stop being consumers. Start seeking out our own, no matter what. You see, there's great truth, obviously, in this Willie Lynch letter, no question, and we see the fruit of that. But that collusion continues. They're sitting in a room somewhere right now, scheming on us. Whether it's in police departments, the governor's office, you understand? The House and the Senate, the president's office, you understand? They are colluding against us right now. I tell you in truth. There's never a moment where that's not on their mind and it's just whatever happens, whatever happens. They're orchestrating everything. Everything. They're orchestrating. And it's all to our detriment. There's no reason for us to doubt that because that's been the agenda since 1619. So it hadn't changed. Only a fool would think something different. All you gotta do is look around you, and if you're paying attention, you will see it. But as I've also told you, you have to cast yourself as a third-party observer in this bitch, a tourist even. You understand? You're not a citizen here. You are not. You are not a citizen. You're not. You are leftover unwanted cargo, a stolen African. I've shared with you guys before. Anytime that I've had paperwork or anything I have to fill out that has those boxes of race, I scratch all that shit out and write in stolen African. Nobody's ever fucking challenged me. And I'm waiting. Never challenged me. Never. Never. And I cast myself as a third-party observer. You understand? That way I have an aerial view of the situation. I'm not down in the fray. I'm up here looking down. That's some bullshit. That's it. But you see, I can see it because I have a bird's eye view. Because I'm not casting myself as part of this. I'm not in that we shit. Ours and all of that. No, they're, them, they. Their, T-H-E-R-R, them, they. Not us, we. This is theirs. And so this slavery as an entity tells you about them as a people, gives you an insight into the conniving evil. Conniving. Because who else, you know that saying of who does that? Well, I'll tell you, it's the white devil. And nobody else has any equivalent of this. There's no Willie Lynch letter that was written by an Arab. There's no Willie Lynch letter that was written by an Asian. There's no Willie Lynch letter that was written by an Indian. There's no Willie Lynch letter that was written by a native person from this bitch. There's no Willie Lynch letter written by an Aborigine. Do you understand what I'm saying? That plots on a people for their demise, has declared them as animals and property, and how to breed them, and how to separate them, how to fuck up their life, and who has hidden their whole history and taken their entire essence as a human being from them. No one else on the earth in the history of civilization has ever pulled off or even conjured an evil like this. So you don't ever look at them as just normal. If you do, you are suicidal. You're suicidal. They identify like some, serial killer or something. And you know it. And there you are hanging out with them. What are you doing hanging out with a serial killer? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? There'd be nothing you could tell anybody that asked you that. Because, alas, there would be no answer that would be cogent and acceptable by humanity and civilization, quite frankly. So, this is a window into this uniquely evil entity. So it's not just Willie Lynch. It's not just him. It's all. You see? Because remember, we don't get the protesters to that because silence is complicity. And I'm trying to think, let me just think now, because maybe I don't know. I'm trying to think about that last time there was this huge march by white people on behalf of blacks and the injustice and that celebration of the apology for slavery that never happened. I'm trying to think when that was. If I could just remember, I just wish I could remember.
Test. Okay, everybody. I just needed to break in real quick to see if anybody else is getting buffering on the video. I noticed on my phone that I'm getting buffering. Um, Shout out to Shaka. Shaka was saying that he was getting a little bit of it. Um, and I know Daniel was saying his was good. Um, and Anjane, I just seen her. She's saying she's getting some too. So I don't know to what degrees everybody is getting it, but we're not that far from the end at all. We're not that far. So we're just gonna pray Allah that we can just power through it, because I'm really pretty much in the summation stage of the video there. Um, so we're just gonna power through, and then hopefully we'll be done in the next 10-15 minutes or so. By the way, I'm loving the chat, you guys. I appreciate it. And as Shaka said, when he came into the room, he was saying, like, he thought it was brilliant that to do it this way and then be able to be interactive. So this is all fresh and new for me. The idea just came to me because when I started out, because I realized that once I put everything in full screen, I wasn't going to be able to see you guys' chat and all that kind of stuff. So okay, Sweet Akibla and Violet is saying that she's still good to go. And Anjane said hers just started. We may need to refresh. I've refreshed, but I think I will refresh again. In fact, let me just completely close out YouTube on my phone real quick and start it up again. Um, yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and play the video. Excuse me. Let me kill my mic because I don't want it bleeding in at all. And then, like I said, we'll be done in the next few minutes. All right, and I'll just continue communicating with you guys in the chat. All right, let's go, everybody.
Righteous vision. You see, show me now this policy that was put forth in all 50 states because all of the leaders got together and said, we've got to do something about the way African people have been and are being treated in this nation, and we're outraged. Where's that group on TV, or at least its representative? I'd like to see the videotape of that. Who has that? Who can bring that? Who can bring that? Who could bring that? Oh, no one, because it hasn't happened and it won't. Silence is complicity. You've co-signed. You've co-signed. Last thing I'll say, in preparing for this piece for you, there was a guy that I came across named Joel something. And he wrote some book. He's a white man obsessed with African history. And he's saying all the right things. He's talking about how, it was African people who contributed everything to society, and that before there was ever a white devil on this bitch that we ruled the entire planet, and that he just went on and on and on, and he was saying all the right things, and I always tell you we accept truth no matter what the source, no matter what the source. But alas, you're writing a book talking about our strife and our history and da-da-da-da-da, and you're so impressed with it and you're obsessed with it, and it's a hobby for you, but it's not your reality. You're still on the other side. So, take your shit. Take your shit. Take your shit. I'm saying, when you're ready to die for me, to literally put yourself in harm's way for me, because my freedom means that much to you, then you can begin to at least have the eye of the Jedi. You see, anything outside of that is just window dressing, fluff, decoration, and I'm not impressed. And I don't impress, So, it's very important that we understand that it didn't cover everything, but damn it, it covered a big block. To help you understand why some of your behaviors and habits and things that you have been sold and have adopted as cultural norms indeed are not. They're not. They're not. They're not. You see, we are dealing with a very dangerous, diabolical enemy, everybody. And we are in a race between education and catastrophe. We are. Because if we can't educate ourselves, but education is not just getting the book knowledge. That's not education, everybody. Education is informed action. Informed action. That is our definition of education at this hour in time. Informed action. Informed action. Informed. So what does that look like? They're gentrifying everything. They're raising the rent. They're doing all this. They're moving around back and back. They're putting a Starbucks over there. Informed action is knowledge. So this is where you understand that you have to go and get with all of your neighbors and come up with a plan of how we're not going to let that happen, no matter what. Knowledge, education is informed action. Informed action. Don't just talk about it, be about it. Do about it. Do you understand what I'm telling you? That's what it's got to be. That's what it's got to be. Because all this conniving, you see, and checking for you and being vigilant and watching your every move and what's your behavior and checking on you and all this and literally hawking over your whole fucking existence has never stopped. Has never stopped. Modern day incarnation of that, just one, is white bitches calling the police on black folks for every fucking thing. My next neighbor just stepped on a roach in their own fucking house and I need the police. Nosy, vigilant, you understand? Hawking and watching over your life at every level. At every level. You see? Be aware. Be aware and be advised. Be advised, everybody. Be advised. A new day has come. A new day has come. But you have got to be new in this new day. You must be new. It's like you go to the public pool and they say you have to have on swimming trunks or you can't get in. You can't come in fucking jeans and a t-shirt. We're not allowing it. You have to be ready to get into the pool. And you have to shower before you get in the pool. You have to be ready. You have to be ready. You have to be ready. So, each individual on the sound of my voice, and you need to spread this video, needs to start making that personal commitment of change. You be the example of everybody for everybody around you. You be that bright light of righteousness. You do it. You do it. You do it. You be the one who is ready to lose your job for the sake of righteousness. If that's what it takes. That no matter what, that will be your pursuit. And put down fear of this enemy. Because you're dealing with the biggest coward on earth. Who's just propped himself up to look aggrandized and more than he is. He's the weakest thing in existence on the planet. Do you understand what I'm telling you? And the most fragile tidbit. We are kings and queens, and our DNA says so. It's about damn time we started acting like it. I'll see you soon.
We are in a race between education and catastrophe.
test. Yes, indeed, we are in a race between education and catastrophe. And that's why I ended with that, because it's so true. Even though it's from my wife, um, it's the truth. You know, it's actually a play on a quote from H.G. Wells, who said, "History is the race between education and catastrophe." And then my wife took it to the next level, as only she can, and said, "We are in a race between education and catastrophe." So let me see.
Just normal. If you do, you are suicidal. You're
Okay,
suicidal.
uh,
They identify like some,
mine is
serial killer or
finished, but it's
something.
still going.
And you know it. And there you are hanging out with them. What are you doing hanging out with a serial killer? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? There'd be nothing you could tell anybody that asked you that. Because, alas, there would be no answer that would be cogent and acceptable by humanity
Um,
and civilization, quite frankly. So, this is a
every message
window
behind.
into this uniquely evil entity. So it's not just Willie Lynch. It's not just him.
All right, that's the actual
It's
one for you.
all.
All right, so
You
it has
see?
ended
Because
for
remember,
everybody, right?
we don't get the protesters to that because silence is
Did it end
complicity.
for everybody? Let me know, because even the chat is behind. Let me go back over. Shaka, a raucous round of applause. um, so the stream ended for everybody, right? Did it or didn't it? Let me know, y'all. Let me know. Somebody type something. Okay. Thank you, Shaka. All right. I just wanted to make sure before I started. I've got a few words to say. I'm not going to keep us hostage. Um, I just wanted to be sure that it had ended, because on my phone it hadn't ended, but on the software it had ended. And okay, so Shaka is saying it's still live. It's still live? What's going on?
Is breaking them from one form of a mental life.
Okay, that's different. Somebody else start typing it. Your experience. What's going on? Um, let's see. Thank you, Violet. I appreciate you, sister. Thank you for that. Okay, Shaka says I'm still live. And Violet says I'm still live. I'm saying, like, I'm live. Me, I know me, I'm live. I'm saying, did the video end for y'all? That's what I meant to ask. I'm sorry. Has the video stopped for everybody? Chaka says yes. The video has actually stopped. It has finished. So you guys saw the end part where the I put up the red my icon and it says we are in a race between education and catastrophe. Y'all seen that part? Okay, Violet says yes, the video has stopped. Okay. Because obviously what's on my screen right now is just like it, whatever, just ignore that part, what's on your screen. I just wanted to be sure that the original, well wait, but that's what's on my screen is the channel, like as if I'm you. So how is this playing? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, y'all. I am just as blind as a bat. Um, uh, because I don't want to start talking if the video is still playing for people. I need some more folks. Shaka said it done stop. Violet said it stopped. Who else is there? I can't believe I don't know this. Um, if it stopped, it should be a blue screen. I'm gonna fast forward this to see what it's saying. If it stopped, it should be a blue screen. I'm gonna fast forward this to see what it's saying. Violet, but it's not the original video, right? It's not. Cause look, y'all, the video itself has stopped. That's the video. It's done. That's what I was streaming to you. Okay. Um, let me just give some kind of a backdrop. Okay, that works. Give y'all some kind of ambiance. You feel me? Ambiance and things. I just want to say briefly, everybody, because I don't want to take up any more of your time, that I appreciate you guys sitting through this piece. It's over 3 hours. Um, I appreciate you guys so much, and I also enjoyed the interaction on the chat as well. I appreciated that, and it was really special for me in that regard because um, when I do live streams, I have to balance between if I'm talking about a subject, and then when I finish that, I try and go back and start looking at you guys' comments and start answering questions and comments and questions. And then if I'm reading something, it's the same dynamic. But with this, I was able to cast myself as a viewer along with you as I watched the playback for the first time. And then I was able to be in the chat and, um, communicate with everybody. Excuse me, and communicate with everybody. So that was really special for me. I really enjoyed that. Um, I will tell you that I don't currently have my next video lined up. I don't know what that is just now. um, God willing, the universe is going to give me the answer to that. Um, soon. This was very important because it helps us to understand, and I really need you guys to share the hell out of every video that I do, quite frankly. But this one needs to be definitely shared because it goes to the essence of our behavior as a people in this current environment. It speaks to why we lack unity and why there is division. It is all born out of a lack of a knowledge of history of ourselves. If you never know that you did something before, you're less likely to repeat that. You know, you could have been the fastest track star in the world, and then, oh my God, you had an accident and you were in a coma for a year, and you had brain loss, you had memory loss because of a brain injury. So you don't know anything. And so, but then maybe 6 months after your recovery, nobody's told you that you were a big track star. So you went on doing something else. And then somebody says, before the accident, you were the greatest track star in the world. And you go, oh my God, I was? You know? And then you're more likely to repeat that. Our history and our contribution to humanity has been and continues to be hidden so that we're not inclined to do what we've done before. You know, um, that's what they don't want, because who we are, again, if you're laying up in that hospital bed, you're still a track star. You just don't know it because you hadn't done it in a while, and you've lost your memory. So I cast us in that same light. So when I say who we are, even though we're not doing it, who we are is far greater than anything they will ever achieve, individually or as a group. Indeed, we are superior in our gifts. We are the first people. We are the ones who gave civilization the use of architecture, numbers, writing, and speech, just to name a minute few. We existed many, 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 infinity, many thousands of years before a single one of these damn people ever appeared from wherever they came from. So it's important that information like this gets shared, because it forces even the most unsophisticated of our people, even a brother that's thugged out or something like that, that would be exposed to the depth of this Willie Lynch speech and the syndrome, is forced, even in his unsophisticatedness, he would have to look at himself and say, damn, damn, you know? So that's the objective. And, you know, as I said at the beginning of the video, I didn't know, or I had never seen or even searched for the Willie Lynch letter, you know. I just took it as gospel. It's something I've known about for many years, obviously, of my life. And we've different times we've all mentioned it, it's that Willie Lynch, it's that Willie Lynch, you know. But like I said at the beginning of the piece, K.R. Watkins is the one that provoked this whole video, because what she said in her comment, I was like, yeah, I would like to see that damn letter too. And that's what sent me off on the journey, you know. And so I pray that I have been effective in my communicating this piece. I pray that I've hit all the right notes, and that everyone who views this will be inspired to some degree of change in their life, in their behavior, in their thinking. That is my hope. That is my hope. That is my hope. I will check out the information, Shaka, that you were talking about with Larkin Rose, I think you said his name was. I'll check that out. And I see here you're saying you should follow this one with your thoughts. Okay, yeah, once I look at the information, that might just be it. Uh, and that one I may just do straight live. Like this one created its was an accidental creation because I had worked very hard on this and I was determined that I was gonna release it to the black spot. And uh and then like I said, they were having problems over there. I even prepared a video for you that was going to be released on the Jedi, telling you about how I had created this video, and it's a 10-minute video still on my computer, and then it was going to be a link, and you're going to go over to the Black Junction, and then but I needed to get it uploaded to Black Junction before I released that announcement video to YouTube so that it would be there when you went over there. And then they were having problems, and I was just like, well, what am I going to do? And I don't want to wait because I don't know how long it's going to be. And this video was really itching up on me, like I need to get this out there. So I went ahead and made that decision I was going to first upload it and release it. And I thought, wait a minute, I wonder if I can live stream it. Just live stream it. And boom, I was able to do it. So I think that probably if I do that this piece on the Jones plantation, then I'll probably do I'll gather my materials and everything that I need and then do the same thing, but it'll be live. It'll be the same setup aesthetically, but the difference is that it won't be the video. It'll be me actually live, and so yeah, we can just see how that works out. Definitely. Let me just quickly scan up and see if there's anybody that I missed. I should probably go over to the main. Well, I can just do it on this one because wait, let me see what the last comment is on my phone to make sure that lines up with what's on the screen. Let me see now. Okay, Chaka says, I was wondering how it came to be that you were streaming so early. Well, that's the simple answer because um, what was going to be in the other video that I'm not releasing now, that was going to be the announcement video. What was that number? Was it 14? I probably won't be able to find it because my luck is so crappy. Let me see. This looks like it could be it. I'll let you hear it, and then you can understand.
2.
That's all the this is stuff I normally edit out, you guys. This is stuff you don't normally see. That's me getting ready to go
1.
live or getting ready to record, like just making sure the do-rag is right and
What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. I'm just putting this video out to let you know that I have produced a very lengthy, it's over 3 hours.
Let me pause it. First of all, you got to let me know if can you hear it. Type yes if you can hear it. Let me play a little bit more so you can tell me how the volume level is and if you can hear it.
On the Willie Lynch letter, I actually was able to find the letter.
Can you hear it?
The idea for the video was sparked.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it? Okay, I'll let it play. This explains why I was streaming so damn early. Here we go.
By one of our precious queens, K.R. Watkins. And that sent me on the journey. And so over 3 hours of work. Because trust me,
Okay,
but
maybe I
the
misspoke.
finished product is just over 3 hours.
All right, strike that because I maybe I didn't go into detail on it. What happened was I started on this video on Wednesday. It was late evening on Wednesday, and I didn't finish until 7 o'clock in the morning on Thursday. After I finished editing and adding sound and text and things like that and effects, I then it's time for you to upload it to your computer. I fell asleep. I slept most of Thursday. In fact, I didn't wake up until my nephew called me at like, I don't know, it was probably 3 or 4 o'clock or something. And then I just couldn't get it together. But I knew the video wasn't finished because I still needed to compress it because the file was really big and it's a 3 hour video, etc., etc. So, um, I had my regular day and stuff I had to do, and and then the compression was taking longer also because I could just compress it quickly and it would be one quality. But with this one, I knew I needed to have that 1080p so that you guys would be able to read the text along with me on the articles. So when you do it that way, the processing can take hours to do. So I had to go through all of that. And then it was weighing on me. Well, now I got to get this video out. It's finished. I got to get it out. I got to get it out. So then it was Black Junction, and then I started realizing that they was having problems, and I couldn't play any videos or anything. Like it kept faulting out to some kind of a URL error or network error or something. It's clearly on their end because every single other website works. So I made sure of that. So now it's late, and now it's the wee hours of the morning again, and then a Friday. And so I'm ready now to release the video. It's finished processing with the compressor. Now where am I going? Do I hold it and just maybe see if Black Junction is gonna have their thing together, maybe later in the day? But then now you got a video that began production on Wednesday that may not get released until late Friday, maybe even Saturday. Could be later than that. So I was going to go live to tell you guys, well, look, I have a video, blah, 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 and there's an issue with Black Junction, and I don't know what to do. But at the last minute, the universe said, live stream it. Live stream it, Jedi. So I went about the business of trying to see, could I live stream it? And alas, I was able to live stream it. So that's what I was able to do. That's how it came to be that I was streaming so early. And in fact, when you watch the very beginning of the live stream, um, my intent was just to give you guys a little bit of a vocal intro just to set it up for you, let you know why it's a live video. I wasn't looking for it to be a live stream and have people in the room and all that stuff. In fact, Mother Earth was the first person that came in, and I said, look, I'm not going to be able to see y'all because this is going to be in full screen. But I gave her salutations and love, and actually I was able to use her to let me know, was it clear, could she see it, and could she hear it, and was it good? And after that I was good, and then it just turned into a regular live stream, so to speak. So I just decided, well, and plus at the time that I was releasing, it was time for me to make the first prayer of the day. So I just decided, well, I may as well just be on up now and be along with my people as we go through it. So that was kind of a long answer, a circuitous way of getting to the end, but that's the truth of it. So yeah. So with that, you guys, I am going to let us all rest and let you marinate over the information that you've been exposed to. Like I said, do share this video far and wide across the land. And God willing, I will see you soon. I leave it here. This is the Jedi. Oh, that's not what I meant to open.